I'm in the field, 2-minute drill, highlight reel, let's review, what's the deal, okay? Watching footage going out of control, buckle up, we got an hour to go, so let's go, that's straight heat. Ain't no chillin' around here, back to back, Nat chins, how we feelin' around here? Got my whole squad in the building around here. If my name ain't on it, then I really don't care. Come on. 3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Wednesday evening. Wednesday during the offseason. Now, we originally moved Tuesday's stream to Wednesday night for a very special guest in the form of Kristen Miller. Kristen Miller texted me about 5:30 this afternoon, unable to make it tonight due to a family emergency. T's and P's, don't know what's going on. Just thoughts and prayers there. Nonetheless, we ride tonight. Unfortunately, a little bit of a letdown for those in the chat tonight. That's sad. I'm sorry. Going to see him Friday night at his draft party. Maybe we get an interview. Maybe we don't. Not really going to press him on one of the biggest nights of his life. I told him we're good on that. Probably just show up with some support for the homie. There you go. Other than that, we're good there. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. Again, thoughts and prayers there. Hope everything is all right. We ride nonetheless, and it is a loaded show. I mean, an absolutely loaded show. We got a 2014 playoff expansion, more than likely coming our way. I've read, so you don't have to. The White House apparently getting involved there. Kalen DeBoer got a contract extension about an hour before show kicked off tonight. We got thoughts on that. Florida State has named a starting quarterback, and I think they made the right decision. We'll talk about that tonight. We have our final draft takes. I'm also going to go up to the board and kind of go through positionally guys I would draft, right? I put together a good college football into the draft segment there. Excited for that. It is Wednesday during the offseason. Which means we've got What If Wednesday tonight. Kirby, you're stoked for that.
The first and only What If Wednesday we'll probably get this offseason.
Yeah, we probably won't get a What If Wednesday again until August. So enjoy that. Get those loaded up. I'm excited to talk that with you tonight. Let's start with the news. But before we do that, like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and tell a friend if you haven't already. About 96,000 subscribers on our way to 100K. Appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Fire off in that chat. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Sorry for the letdown, but it is what it is. We're going to ride and have a great show tonight. Last show of the week tomorrow. I will be with Dan Levitar. We might get Jay Will a little sneaky appearance in there.
Boy.
Maybe accidentally hit camera 4 during one of our spots. I don't know. Maybe get Jay Will a little national limelight stretch.
I'm not that clout hungry.
You know?
I'm not that clout hungry.
Okay. Maybe we'll just make it all about me tomorrow night.
Would work for me, honestly.
It would work for me. It would work for me as well. I'm okay with that. Glad to be here with you guys tonight. Let's start with the news, Jonathan. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start 2014 playoff expansion, DeBoer extension, Florida State naming a quarterback? What you want, Jonathan? There is a right answer here. I'm not going to duck you if you give it to me, okay?
No, that's not the right answer.
What do you want, Jonathan?
I want DeBoer extension.
Ding, 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 ding. Jonathan Williams is correct. We are the most pressing news here. Kalen DeBoer gets a contract extension, 7-year contract extension, boys. A bump, $2 million bump up to $12.5 million. Makes him, I believe, the third highest paid coach in college football.
I don't even keep up with who's high.
Yeah, it's Kirby at like 13.25, Signetti at 13.2, And then,
Is Lane somewhere up there now?
Lane, excuse me, this is fourth. Lane's higher than DeBoer. So, yes, Lane, and then here with Kalen DeBoer.
And Sig?
And Sig. I said Sig's at 2 behind Kirby Smart. And
Yeah,
Ryan Day's in the mix there, too. So,
Yeah,
it's top 5. He's in that now north of $12 million range, and he will be the head coach at Alabama until 2033. I do have some buyout stuff for you here, boys, in case you are interested, all right? If they choose to fire him in February of next year, they owe him $67.5 million. All right? If they choose to fire him in 2028, they owe him $56.5 million. If they fire him in 2029, $45 million. In 2030, $33.5 million. I would say that's the swallowable line.
Right.
So, like, if it doesn't go well, if we're, like, perpetually 8-4, they probably eat that at $45 million, I would imagine.
I honestly don't think they'd wait that long. I know it's a lot of money to fork over for that, but, I mean, if you get 2 more 8-4 seasons, they might be like, this guy's got to go.
I think that 2029 is probably the line of, okay, this is where we could have the conversation at least. If it's that bad.
If we haven't won a couple of playoff games that look like on the verge of maybe winning a national title by 2029, we probably going to eat $45 million and go find a new football coach at Alabama.
For sure.
All right, so that is the buyout situation there. Couple of things I want to ask before I play a game with you guys. Why didn't Grubb get paid? Did you notice this?
Yeah, I saw a couple.
Everybody got an extension. Courtney Morgan got an extension. Womack's there at 2 3/4 in 3 years from now. Womack, one of the highest paid and longest tenured assistant coaches in college football. Courtney Morgan got an extension to $1.2 million for the next 2 or 3 years. But Ryan Grubb's making $1 million and only signed through the end of next year. What's up with that?
Do you think that maybe it has to do with previous conversations between them? Because, I mean, let's remember that Ryan Grubb went to the NFL for a year when Kalen DeBoer made the transition to Alabama. 2 guys that have been paired at the hip for as long as we can remember were with each other at Washington. He was in the NFL. Didn't go so well, comes back to college football. Maybe it's one of those things of like, I'd like to get back soon.
That was my first thought. My first thought was you don't want to be tied here. Not they don't want to tie you up. Because I think if DeBoer had the option to keep Grubb around as long as humanly possible, he probably would. Mm-hmm. But Grubb's intentions and, for that matter, failures on the NFL level and this contract make me believe that he might be longing for another opportunity.
Well, it could also,
or maybe wants to be a head coach. I know nothing about Ryan Grubb from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, and I mean, it could also just be that he hasn't done enough to warrant a contract. Like, he's been on that program for 1 season.
I disagree. I think his career length and tie to Grubb or to DeBoer tells me that DeBoer and, for that matter, his success. As long as those two have been together, they've had really, really good offenses. The running game last year was a problem. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, the running game's been a problem for Grubb at his last 2 stops, too.
I didn't think they struggled to run the football at Washington.
At Seattle.
Oh, well, yeah. The NFL thing as a whole was a failure.
Right.
They were bad offensively.
For sure.
They were just bad. It was a bad run at it at the NFL level. There's no way about it.
I mean, too, it could just be like one of these earn-it type years for Ryan Grubb. I feel like – I mean, it's just kind of spitballing here. It feels weird to say that when if you feel like your head coach has done a good enough job to earn a contract extension and other people around him, why wouldn't the OC? But I don't know. There's just a couple ideas I would have. I would mainly point to the NFL, though.
Go ahead.
I would say I also think it's important to note before we get too deep into the weeds of this conversation, this deal was reportedly done sometime in December. They're just now announcing it. I think
they tied it up with the Nate Oates contract extension announcement. So, yeah, this has been – we kind of tied it up. It was right around seemingly when his wife sat down with their collective and did like we love it here. We're staying here. We'll be here as long as you'll have us.
Well, there were the rumors of like, hey, like is Michigan going to poach him? Or even Penn State was looking at Kalen DeBoer. So I think that might all come around. Because I saw people reacting on social media of like, after a 9-3 season, after they did this in the playoff. Like,
that was going to be my next question, Christian and Jonathan, is like, do you think there is a portion of their fan base that looks at this and says he deserved that already, or is this like a good? We got him locked up for a long time.
So I'll be honest, I don't fully understand extension culture. Like it seems like every time there's other than a Kurt Signetti or like a Kirby Smart or a guy that has absolutely proven themselves like, hey, this guy just took us to a championship. He absolutely deserves the max extension that he's getting. It feels like more so than ever we're looking around going like, why did he get extended? Or they're giving him that much after one season of modest success? Like, I personally don't get most of these. So the Kalen DeBoer one's no different. Like, yeah, they won a playoff game this year, but I think there's a lot of things that people are concerned about with the Kalen DeBoer era of Alabama football, why they felt like Alabama felt like they needed to extend him 7 more years. I don't personally get it, but it seems to be the norm in the sport.
I do feel like it requires a lot less, it seems like, nowadays to receive a contract extension as a head coach in this sport. But I would also say this. It makes sense in the grand scheme of things because one of the few things that you can control as a football program is the stability and the longevity of your head coach, and you do that by giving them a contract extension. Roster structure, there's no stability there. Players have all the say and have all the ability in the world to go and leave as they please. The rest of your coaching staff, it all kind of depends on how quickly they climb the totem pole, how quickly jobs open up that they're interested in, things like that. But for your head coach, if that's the one thing that you can provide stability in, then it might not be a bad idea to say, we got this guy locked down for the next 6 years.
He's also recruiting at a really, really high rate.
For sure, definitely.
So I think there's a level of, like, this will only help that, by the way. It's like we solidify any questions about him. I would imagine there was some – you think there's some anti-recruiting done against these guys about, like, hey, I mean, especially last year close to signing day, it was probably like, hey, man, he's flirting with Michigan. Hey, man, he's flirting with the next one open.
Oh,
hey,
for
man,
sure.
look out. Hey, they don't have a contract extension for him. Hey, maybe they don't like it. Like, there was a lot of these narratives about this football coach
Definitely.
late last season, even the midst of a playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, there was significant talks that, hey, if Alabama loses to Oklahoma in the playoff game, Kalen DeBoer's leaving.
Yeah.
Which felt a little weird, like the entire career decision is going to hinge on whether or not you win or lose a game, but those rumors were very much swirling.
20-8 at Alabama, 7-year contract extension, $12.5 million.
I mean, good for him, man.
When you just A and B not equaling C normally right there at that situation.
I agree.
I mean, but if we don't lose to teams we're supposed to or not supposed to lose to, we're probably 32-6.
Fair.
I mean, they're probably undefeated.
I wouldn't say that. It's a little bit much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say undefeated.
They shouldn't have. They were not better than Indiana by year's end.
Okay, fair. They've lost 3 games. I think.
Yeah, and
They were not better than Georgia by year's end.
Yeah, and I would also say that's what I was about to point to is like the record overall maybe not that glamorous, but I also say like two of the 3 postseason appearances that we have at Alabama are bad. And I understand that we were a banged up football team when we were in Atlanta, and we were a banged up football team when we played Indiana, but those are 2 really bad spots on our resume right now.
So that leads us to our next game, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm putting this at the very low end, below 10% when I say we're about to play a game. So Bama fans, don't get mad. But I think when a contract extension like this happens after 20-8, 1 playoff appearance, and some bad losses, you do have to ask this question. Chances of Norvell. Percentage chances of Norvell, where within 24 months we have buyer's remorse. I put it at like 8%. I think this is going to be – I don't know if it's going to work at its highest rate, like multiple championships over the next 7 years, but over the next 7 years, they're going to be a really good program. I believe in this football coach.
Yeah, I don't think that this ever flat out collapses
no.
it has under Mike Norvell.
We won't 2-10 this sucker ever.
No, I do think that there is a reality when we get 2 seasons down the road and Alabama fans go, we gave this guy an extension and we still don't have an SEC championship and we still don't have a national championship and we only have X number of playoff wins. I think that's a very –
The bottom doesn't even have to fall out. It's just got to rain out there consistently and it'll feel gross.
I mean,
definitely.
You know what I mean?
At a place like that.
And I think that might be the unfair scale that goes in this direction. If it's true Mike Norvell where, oh my gosh, they've just tied themselves to a dead horse for 7 years – 0%.
Yeah.
The idea that Alabama fans are remorseful about this, I would say it's 60.
And by the way, remorseful is over the next 3 years, they are consistently 8-4, 9-3.
Yeah.
And that's still hard to do in this league.
Definitely.
I would say that Like the bare minimum requirement for Kalen DeBoer, and I'm talking about bare minimum. Like if you don't check all the boxes, you better at least check this one. It would be that you maintain relevancy with this program, like bridging the gap between Nick Saban retiring, Kalen DeBoer, and whoever the next guy is. The bare minimum that you have to do is make sure that you don't sink this sucker into the ground to where it's not as glamorous of a job as it once was when you first took it. That's the bare minimum. I don't think it'll ever get past that. I think it'll continue to maintain relevancy there. But is there buyer's remorse if you don't win a national title?
I'll tell you what, Jonathan. I get asked all the time, is Kalen DeBoer the right guy for Alabama? Is Kalen DeBoer the guy for Alabama? That they and I tweeted about this. They wrote it in big, bold, like permanent ink. He is the guy.
Yeah, they think so.
We think we got the right football coach. This contract says that. So there is no more like, hey, ask the shock talk guy, is this the right head coaching hire? Is this going to work? They think it is, to the tune of a $70 million buyout this fall. Mm-hmm. So they think it's the guy.
I'd honestly put it at a coin flip right now. It's been that up and down over the past 2 seasons for Kalen DeBoer and that program. Like we have some really high highs and we have some really low lows. So essentially it's a coin flip for me now. Like you winning a national title wouldn't surprise me at some point down the road. But if you never win a national title and things kind of coast the way they are right now, I also wouldn't be surprised by that.
Very true.
All right, Jonathan, you got another option here. And there is a right answer. Do you want to talk FSU starter?
That's not the right answer.
Or do you want to talk 2014 playoff?
I got to stick with the trend here. Most pressing news, 2014 playoff in the White House.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't think we want to talk about Seminole football right now?
I'd rather
There's a smooth transition from the Norvell rule right there.
I'd rather talk about Seminole.
Let's talk 2014 expansion. So I read so you don't have to. I read this article today. Apparently a 14-person, quote, presidential committee has been put together, and they are apparently suggesting 24 teams as a way to, quote, offset financial concerns of college programs. This 14-person committee that you might be asking, like, hey, who are these people that are now deciding or trying to decide or talk about the future of college football? Well, this presidential committee is actually just all of the commissioners put together and talking about the sport with some very important people on top of that. Now, who might those very important people be, you might be asking? Well, first and foremost, we got to have executives from ESPN and Fox in the mix.
For sure.
We got to. They got to be on this committee that decides the betterment of the future of college athletics and college sports. ESPN and Fox got to have a seat at the table. Jerry Cardinal, Jonathan, he got to have a seat at the table too. You want to ask me who Jerry Cardinal is?
Who is Jerry Cardinal?
He a billionaire. That's who Jerry Cardinal is. He a billionaire. Trump's senior advisor.
Oh, there you go.
Got to be on the board as well. He's actually buddies with my man Cardinal, the billionaire. Used to be on his board at his billionaire company. David Blitzer. Got to be on the board, Jonathan. Got to be on the committee. Got to help decide the future of college football. David Blitzer. Guess what he is?
Rich.
Billionaire.
He a billionaire, boys. He's a billionaire. And then my man Cody Campbell.
We
know all about Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell, what is he best known for? Billionaire. He's a billionaire. And then Randy Levine. You know who Randy Levine is?
I do not.
Adam's brother.
He's the president of the New York Yankees.
What? Wait.
Also used to be on the board of one of these billionaires. That's who's deciding, or at least talking about the future of college football that, oh, yes, has to go to 24 teams. We have to go to 24 teams to help alleviate the financial burden. College football is the only sport and the only product and the only business I have ever seen in my life that's like, hey, its entire product pool, its entire constituents, and all of its fans are like, no, don't do this. Don't go to 16. Stay at 12. Definitely don't go to 24. And they're like, they seem to hate this. We're going to give it to them anyways. The only comparison I brought to my mind today is the fact that everybody wants Chick-fil-A open on Sundays, and Chick-fil-A's like, nah, that's the holy day. But they got a pretty damn good reason for saying no to their customers. Mm-hmm. I don't understand college football.
Right, and their reason's not based in greed. Chick-fil-A's is like a completely other option.
It's a holy day.
Correct. This is, we're going to make more money doing this.
Thank God the Yankees president's helping out. Man, I was worried there for a minute. I was like, man, we're getting a little out of bounds. And Yankees prez. Yes.
And it's crap like that makes me so frustrated with all of this, because we're reaching out to people and letting people hold important value in decisions for this sport who have no ties, by the way, to college football whatsoever.
Well, except Cody Campbell.
I'm talking about Mr. Levine right here.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankees president.
Mm-hmm.
He's involved in soccer and baseball right now. There's no football ties whatsoever to this gentleman, and I would imagine growing up in New York City, being from there, probably no ties in general whatsoever to college football, if I had to guess. I just don't understand this at all. We're letting people like that hold the value in these decisions.
You want a hint of good news? Just a hint.
Sure.
This is all for naught because of that one little important memorandum. Y'all remember that memorandum that we told y'all about 2 years ago? The Memorandum of Understanding. Mm-hmm. We called it the Memorandum of Inferiority. The SEC and the Big Ten will ultimately decide what we're going to do. This is we're going to listen to y'all. Hopefully y'all give us good thoughts and good ideas, and then we're going to decide what we do ultimately.
Well, and I believe there was a quote from this that said, even if the playoff field does expand, it will not happen until there's a super conference, essentially. It would require the Big Ten and the SEC becoming their own thing, and they would have to then govern themselves. That's what I saw a quote on. It's like that's what it would take before there is playoff expansion past the 12-team field at the moment. So, again, that puts it back in the hands of college football teams and commissioners and whatnot, but I wouldn't say that there's a great track record there.
You think Jerry Cardinal knows ball?
I have no idea, but probably not.
How did we get here, man?
I would invent
money. Money's how we got here.
3 years ago, we were arguing, hey, they might need to go from 4 to 8. And now we're toying with the notion of adding 20 more teams to the college football playoff. Like, we're not even talking about how, these teams can compete for a national title, which was the entire reason as to why the playoff was created in the first place, because we felt that there were more than 2 teams by the end of the season that could legitimately compete for a national title. And now this is basically so blatantly about money. And there's going to be media analysts that will try to spin and go, this is actually good for college football. You'll do all the same things as we've seen every time there's been expansion coming down. So it's sad.
I knew we were in trouble when I saw ESPN Fox executives, and I started doing some Googling on Mr. Cardinal, Mr. Blitzer, Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Levine. I'm like, all right. I'd take a Mr. Pate in that mix, please. Somebody that actually cares about college football.
Yeah, somebody that at least has a connection to the people who actually drive this sport, the fans, the people that actually care about this sport. That's what I hate most about all of this is that I don't know if they actually think that people believe it or not, but they act like they can just straight up lie to us and think that we don't see through it. Like they think that they can propose a 2014 playoff and play it off as this will be great for the sport. There's better numbers right now, more teams involved. It'll be one of the greatest playoff formats in all of sports. That's not why you're doing this. And I hope you know that nobody believes you when you say that. We understand what the actual goal of all of this is. TV revenue and all that mumbo jumbo.
It's unfortunate. It
irritates me so much every time I have to talk about it. It really does.
Now, Ross Dellinger did have a good thread of tweets today basically talking about how there were a lot of talks about this and how it doesn't seem like they're coming to a decision right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that we're
like I said, in the article, it was like, hey, all this is for naught. It's all what Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey decide.
Right.
So... But it does freak me out that they're all in a room going, yeah, 24 is a great idea. Mm-hmm. Just a couple weeks after we heard Kirby Smart say the same thing and Josh Heupel say the same thing. And it's like I told you a couple weeks ago. It's floated, then it's confirmed, then it's put into place. All the while, we bitch, moan, and complain, and they say, don't really care. We need this bread. That's how it goes. Mm-hmm. So, Florida State named a starter.
Sure did.
And we're talking about it because I like the guy. I like Ashton Daniels. I think Ashton Daniels makes big-time throws.
Yeah. I mean,
has since he was at Buford.
And this quarterback transfer portal acquisition for them this past offseason actually made sense to me. Like, that was one that I could correlate between the two and be like, you know what? I think that's a good fit for both of these guys. You have a guy in Ashton Daniels who tried to make the jump from Stanford over to Auburn, ultimately couldn't work things out for the best. Also because Hugh Freeze is no longer the head coach, so we got a changing of the regime over there. So probably not a best fit for us to stay there for one last year. Let's go to a place like Florida State where
Also,
I can win
he
this
didn't-
job. And this is a veteran guy of like we can go in there and give him all the reps and he'll be fine.
Sorry, I wanted to cut you off so bad. Also, the new staff didn't take the time to have a meeting with us.
Fair, that too.
Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
He met with every player, though.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, I like Ashton Daniels. I think he's a big-time thrower. I think Hugh Freeze might still have a job if he started him over Jackson Arnold. Hot take.
Quicker than he did, yes.
Hot take.
I think Hugh Freeze is getting fired regardless.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Things
He
would have
would have found a way to cook that.
I don't think we can put the reason Hugh Freeze and that administration failed on the play
Administration.
of one quarterback.
Yeah, no, I mean, that
I mean,
story
you
story
just did
we
the
heard.
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I know. We were so dang close.
You just did not. I'm not saying it's Jackson Arnold's fault, but he
It
didn't
is-
play the way I thought he would.
It
and
is
that's why I'm
both
fired.
of their. It is Jackson Arnold's fault, but it is Hugh Freeze's fault for being a Jackson Arnold believer. That was crazy to me. They gave him a lot of money. Who watched that Oklahoma tape
That's what
and
I
was
was
like,
about to
"That's
say,
my
is like-
guy. I have to go give that money."
Yeah. I think that a
it's
lot
crazy.
of people could have seen that one not working out from a pretty far distance away, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Just being fair.
A wise philosopher did once say, "All my homies hate Hugh Freeze." Let's go to the board and let's make some NFL draft my guys takes. You want to do this?
Sure.
Let's do this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through every position, and I'm going to tell you who my favorite guy is at every spot. How's that sound? All
like a
22
plan.
spots, from tackle to corner. We're going to do it all right here, right now. And then at the end, the boys are going to tell you some takes of guys that they just don't understand why the NFL is either all on or all off. Let's start with the offensive line. My kids were drawing all over this today, so there is no telling whether or not we have any malfunctions. All right, offensive line. Let's start over at left tackle. I'm a big Monroe Freeling guy. All right, I think Monroe Freeling is going to be a 12 to 15 year like stable left tackle. Like I don't mind the Joe Alt comps if somebody wants to give him that. Okay, in at left guard, I'm taking my man. I ain't going to pronounce it. We're going to call you Penn State. Where's 71 for Penn State? He's a dog. All right, a guaranteed, automatic, safe pick at the guard spot. I think he's going to be like a top 20 selection in tomorrow night's NFL draft. All right, at the center spot, he played a lot of spots at Texas A&M, and I'm a huge fan of Trey Zune III. All right, now, played left tackle to start that playoff game against Miami. He's out there giving Messidor and Bain like a real battle. And then they start realizing, hey, this Morton dude is just absolutely killing us in the middle. So guess what they did? They took Trey Zune and they bumped him in at center. And he takes 3 series at center. And then they're struggling back out tackle. So what do? They throw Trey Zune back out at tackle. I think Trey Zune is going to be a long-time NFL football player. I like him a lot. Close second for me, I really like Tommy Brockemeyer, the center out of Miami. Undersized guy, understands leverage, understands conceptual football and spacing. What's up?
Why do you think Slaughter, the Florida center? Why is he? I felt like he
Gets
came.
a lot of love.
He came into 25 feeling. I felt like he was like interior offensive lineman 1, and he's kind of slipped down boards. Why is that?
I haven't watched it a ton. And he's not in this mix for this top 55, top 75.
Right.
So you're right, he has slid. Probably 25 tape. You know, the 24 tape probably really good. You're right, he was on a lot of boards, a lot of preseason lists and stuff like that. Maybe the 25 tape just not that good. Or
Yeah,
maybe
there was
an injury that popped up.
There was a lot of not good tape happening at Florida in 2025.
That is a fair take right there. A big internet, guy that everybody loves, old Jennings Dunker from Iowa, plays tackle out there, Iowa. He's a guard in the NFL. I love the Iowa. I love scouting Iowa offensive linemen. I think they're really well coached. They develop at a high rate over 4 years over there. I think he's going to be a long-time pro in at the guard position. And everybody knows I'm a big Francis Mawanoa guy over here at right tackle. I think he's going to be the first tackle off the board, and he is my first tackle off the board, okay? I would go 1 and then 2. A little bit of a preamble to some draft takes tomorrow. I'm out on both of the Utah tackles. I think their play strength is a big concern going on to the next level, particularly the right tackle, which is Lamu's the left tackle. The right tackle would be
Spencer Fanu.
Fano, that one. Fano reminds me of Andre Dillard for you draft nuts. Tackle out of Washington State. Philly drafts him at like 22 overall. got his damn face ran through for like 4 years before he just starts bouncing around. I worry about it. Play strength's huge. Anchor awareness. I learned this, or a new term for me. Watching these tackles over and over and over again, most of the time against high-end pass rushers, the great ones, right? Francis has elite anchor awareness, all right? So not just having a really good anchor, being able to be strong as an offensive lineman, but understanding when we're getting a bull rush and when to get our feet out of the ground and get a bull hop stance back underneath us and get our hips back underneath us. Oh shit, here comes the bull, boom, sit down and catch it. That awareness is really, really elite, because if we start walking a step or two and then start to bull hop, we've already been pushed into the quarterback, okay? So I like these guys a lot here on the offensive line. Chat, got any questions?
Not yet.
All right, if you do, start asking them, okay? Hey, an H tight end. I think there's only one worth drafting at the really, really high-end spot, and that's Kenyon Sadiq.
Understandable.
Okay. As a Y tight end, a guy who can actually play in line, and I know he can block at a high level in the NFL. A little bias here because I've seen it a ton. I'm taking Oscar Delp. Now, if you say, hey, Brooksy, we need somebody to do both, I'm taking Eli Stowers out of Vandy. Honestly, if I had a first-round pick and I had to take a tight end, I might take this kid.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I think he's really, really good. And just weapon. Like, he's an elite weapon and big enough to maybe handle some stuff in line if we actually had to do that. I think what's up?
I would say that seems to be like the big three when it comes to tight end prospects in this class.
Yes,
I can't really.
It's a kind of a thin class, to be honest with you.
It has been the last 2 years. Like last year was really just Loveland and
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren from Penn State.
Yep.
That was it.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to wide receiver. I like wide receiver in day two. I like wide receiver rounds 2 through 4. I think it's really, really deep. I think it's really, really good. I am not as sold on the top end of this class. Wide receiver 1 for me is Jordan Tyson, based off tape. However, not to be the guy that's like all injury concerned dude, but my history of being a football person. Hamstring guys are hamstring guys pretty much for eternity, especially if they've had major, major knee things. Don't do Jackson Smith and Jigba
I was going to do it.
Well, Jackson Smith and Jigba might have had some hammy tightness, but I don't remember him popping stuff in college.
I don't think he ever popped it.
Okay,
I remember he missed a few games.
We've got some poppage like we see on tape where it literally explodes on us. That's concerning to me, and it's kind of been a thing where we try to get back and it re-aggravates, and it's a thing, especially when you add on top of the fact that it was not just an ACL injury. And I don't mean to pull out the man's medicals right now in front of everybody, but it was a big one. It was ACL, MCL, PCL. It was whole thing, not just non-contact. This was big-time shot to the knee and a very dirty hit, in my opinion, from an Oregon player, and our foot was in the ground and our knee exploded. It was a big one. Now, we've maintained all of our explosivity. Again, the tape is elite. We're wide receiver 1. For that reason, I would stay away. If I needed an X, I would probably go round 2 with Jeremy Bernard. Big Jeremy Bernard player or fan. I think Jeremy Bernard is just an all-around good football player. I just think he understands. I think that we got a really, really high hit rate with him. I would take him. First round, I'm taking Carnell Tate as a Z, and I'm feeling really, really comfortable about it. Okay, and in the slot, I think the slot is the deepest position in the draft, okay? A lot of Mekhi Lemon fans, I do understand it. I'm an Omar Cooper guy personally. I would go some combination of Cooper and Lemon here at the top, okay? But guys, Zachariah Branch is going to play in the NFL for a long time, okay? I also think, who else we got? Antonio Williams from Clemson's going to play for a long time. I think he gets overlooked in this class. That's a great day 2 selection at that spot. Deion Burks from Oklahoma had horrendous quarterback play over his college career. He's damn good and runs a 4.28 or some crazy stuff right there. And then speaking of speed, guys, do you think anybody takes a flyer out of Brennan Thompson out of Mississippi State?
I mean, someone will do it.
Somebody will do it. I mean, it's some of the fastest tape you will watch.
Yeah,
I don't know what he ran at the combine, if he ran at the combine, but that dude on tape is like, whoa. How do we stop that type of fast?
I think most mocks have him as a mid-third round guy.
Okay.
Which is
That's where he probably belongs,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, and I think all of these guys have a potential to be like long-time pros in the slot. I think it's a really, really deep slot class. Quarterback, any guesses? Any guesses where I stand on this?
You're going to go tie 1.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about this, Kirby. Okay, I think Ty and Fernando are first-round caliber talents. Every time I watch Fernando, though, I get more and more concerned. Our pure progression stuff is real toey. We get nervous. We get over the front end. Ball starts spraying on us in the very limited clips that we have of him doing it.
Yeah.
But, man, we're big. We're physical. We make accurate throws. And I do buy into the intangibles off that kid. He is a very, very smart individual. I do think this guy is a guaranteed hit. Only thing is, does our body survive? Okay. Now, guys that I like as well. You know I'm a Nuss guy. Believe it or not, I'm still a Carson Beck guy. And who else did I like? That's it. I think these are the only 4 that I would take and think survive year one. Like, I can throw them into the fire and they will be fine.
Where would you put Cade Klubnik on this list?
I think that speaks for itself.
And look, you talking about intangibles. I love that kid.
Here's what we go.
I love that kid, but it's not even like we can hire an arm. You know what I mean? I'm never going to draft Cade and expect him to play winnable NFL football for me. And great, he's great organizational ad. That's awesome. But if I'm drafting a backup, I want a damn howitzer.
All right.
I want a guy that can stand back there. I don't have to worry about him actually play the position, but he can rip the shit out the football.
And that's where Drew Aller comes into the conversation.
That's where Drew Aller comes in the convo.
Rank these 3. Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, Taylon Green.
I'm drafting all to be a backup.
Yes.
Then I would go Drew Aller, Taylon Green, Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
Fair.
If I'm drafting a quarterback to be a backup, I'm drafting traits or floors. Okay? So you either one day might be the greatest to ever do it because it finally clicks, or at the very worst, you're a great practice player for me at that position. Because we got to simulate it in practice without getting our starter out there burning arms.
Right.
All right, so that's how I look at the quarterback position. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the football. If I had to take a nose tackle today, okay, a true shade tech, maybe even play him as a 0, I'm taking Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, okay? After that, I'm probably going to take Lee Hunter, okay, out of Texas Tech. Now, I will say this. Lee Hunter's flashes are higher than any nose tackle in this class. I said clash because for some reason my brain was thinking Big Citrus. Big Citrus from Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Dominique Orange, is that his name?
Yeah.
Big Citrus. I'm a big Citrus fan.
I think Cincinnati has a nose, too, in this class.
Yes, they do. He wore 0 out there. He's a big monster as well.
He's pretty solid.
As does Oklahoma. The Horton kid wore 56 for them. He's a monster as well. I like his tape. Now, let's move on to the defensive tackle position. I'm trying to check time over here. Defensive tackle position. These are the true 3 techs. I think there's only one I would draft in the first round. And I don't even love it,
Peter
to be honest
Woods,
with you.
yeah.
I'm buying flashes. You'll hear me talk about this tomorrow night. The amount of teams that are playing 5-up, where they just walk 5-up on passing downs, and it's all twitch and athleticism, and we're trying to find high-end pass rushers on the interior. This is the only guy, in my opinion, that flashes on the interior of the defensive line. Everybody else is just a really, really high-level football player. Does that make sense? Like, Kristen Miller, to me, is a really, really high-level football player. But there are flashes in Peter Woods' tape that are unmatched at this defensive tackle position.
Definitely.
I do have caveats with him, like you are never, ever allowed to weigh over 295 pounds, ever. You're going to hear me talk about this with Proctor. If you ask me about him, we would have rules. I don't know if y'all heard that comment from Nick Saban today, but that terrified me.
Yeah.
That terrified me. The idea that we don't have an ability to, what did he say? We don't have an ability to govern him outside of the building.
Right. He's not a self-motivator. Self-motivator.
That if we just let him do whatever he wants outside the building, he's going to. Buddy, he has more time off as an NFL football player than he's ever imagined. I also saw a clip of Proctor talking about him his freshman year. He said he got up to 400 pounds.
Sick.
He came in last year at 375. After for 2 straight years being told you need to lose weight, you can't play this heavy. He waited until this year in season to get down to 352, and guess what he weighed in at his pro day? 357. It's like I'm not here for it. I don't like it. It scares the piss out of me, especially when we're talking about drafting him inside the top 20. Scares me to death. Because we can't even play guard at 365 in the league, I don't think. Do y'all?
You're a very rotund guard if you do.
I don't even think we can do that. So there's that. Defensive end. Let's do it. Now, I'm a big TJ Parker guy, and I can't believe I am. I'm a big Blake Miller guy. I'm a big Avion Terrell guy. I'm a big what the hell happened at Clemson guy this year. I don't understand it. When you watch these guys from an individual standpoint, TJ Parker plays hard. Hard. Every single down. Loved watching that tape. My backup here, I'd probably take him one, honestly, now that I'm writing it out, is Zion Young. Zion Young is the baddest dude in the draft. If I had to say, like, of all the guys, who do you least want to fight? Zion Young. Anybody got a close second? Guy you would least like to fight in the NFL draft? I'm going Zion Young.
Guy I would least like to fight in the NFL draft.
Chew on it. See what you get back to me on. Let's go to edge. Okay, by the way, I'm a 4-2-5 jack playing team, so think of it more as a jack, not necessarily an edge. These are stand-up guys. By the way, I think Ruben Bain could do this. I think Ruben's that good. I think he's that twitchy. I think he's that athletic. In fact, they played him more as the stand-up rusher every once in a while, opposite of Messidor this year. If I can't get him, I'm probably going to take R. Mason Thomas. Okay? I am not a David Bailey guy.
And he's about to be the second overall pick.
Yeah, people are very
I'm not a
high
David
on Mr.
Bailey guy. You know what David Bailey wins with? To me, David Bailey wins with, I'm a better athlete than you. On all of his – go watch that. He has 4.5 sacks against Kansas. And the Kansas – maybe it's 3.5. The Kansas tackle looks like he's about to wet down his leg. He's panic pedaling. Like he's running backwards in his stance because he can't handle the athleticism.
Oh, my poor Jayhawks.
And then you watch him versus my man Ian Achor, who, I mean, twitchy, athletic, foot fires, immaculate. We have to start spinning on him every chance we get because he can get out to us. Our bag is we're going to run by you, freak you out, or spin inside. We have no hands. We have very little bend. It's just, and by the way, no appearance on rundowns.
Yeah.
Zero. I told you guys before the show, if I get asked to do something like this again next year, we're scouting all these players, I will not scout them as tightly as I did this year, back to back. I'll let it breathe because watching him and then turning on Bain's tape, one guy is like here to rush, one guy is here to play football, and I'm always going to love the guy who's here to play football and not have disdain, but have dislike for the guy who doesn't. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. If I want to take a twitchy guy who needs to develop a bag and is not rushing with overwhelming athleticism, I'll just take Arvell Reese because on first and second down I can play him off ball, and then on third down we can teach him how to rush. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
There is no. Again, I want a Texas Tech fan listening today to be like, he's wrong, he's an idiot. Here are 12 clips of David Bailey being an animal in run defense. There's your test. There's your homework if you can. All right, let's move on to linebacker. Just draft Ohio State.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
Just draft Ohio State. I want Sonny playing Mike on rundowns, Somney. I want Sonny playing Mike on rundowns in the box all the time. I want Arvell playing Will on rundowns, extended outside the box, running shit down. On passing downs, I want these roles to inverse. I want Sonny to be outside covering stuff. I want Arvell in the box rushing. Okay, I think this guy is so much of a better off-ball linebacker than people are giving him credit for. When he gets drafted, they're going to show all of his clips as an edge rusher and all that stuff. What they're not going to show is him stuffing the guard in the face, shedding the block, getting flat, making a play for a TFL. They're not going to show that. He is an all-pro caliber ceiling off-ball as a true inside linebacker, in my opinion. I think there is such an obvious nickel, like the best nickel defender in this draft by a wide margin. Any guesses who it is?
I was going to say Caleb Downs, but he's just true safety.
True safety.
D'Angelo Pons?
No, I'm going to let him and Avion Terrell have an opportunity to try to stick at corner.
Okay.
If I draft them. And then if we need be, they're both tough enough, we'll kick him inside. But no, I think there is one player who won playoff games for his football team at star and at the nickel position that I would easily say is the number one nickel in this draft.
Keontae Scott?
Keontae Scott. I think Keontae Scott is so far and away the best nickel prospect in this class that it's not even close.
He's getting like second and third round projections, I think.
Kirby, I think he might, like, he might find. He's one of. I've been told today there's like a list of 40 players that might go in that 25 to 32 range. There is so much of a. We don't have a consensus 32 or even 35 football players that have to be in a pecking order.
Right.
That 27 to 45 on everybody's board is so different that a player like this could go late first.
I believe it.
Keelan Rutledge, the kid out of Georgia Tech, might go late first.
Yeah.
Okay, there are situations like that happening.
It's also a very interesting class in that there's a lot of solid options, but no one's really like, oh, this is a great, fantastic player. And there's also not a lot of potential busts. Like, it feels like just a bunch of solid players in this year's class.
At the free safety position, I'll take Thieneman, but here's the deal. If you wanted to sell me McNeil Warren stock out of Toledo, I'd buy it. I'd buy the flashes. If you just showed me the cut-ups, the highlight tapes of the two, I'm probably taking McNeil Warren. But that's the other thing I think next year, if I do this, I want the ability to do. I want to be able to cut up just his man clips, just his zone clips, just his run defender clips, and then watch those packages as opposed to watching full game flows. I'll do both. But towards the end, I want to watch the highlight packages, and here's why. When I watch game flow of kids, I feel like I start to dislike them because they're taking plays off, or like the McNeil Warren kid, flashing like crazy. Makes a play against Kentucky where he's the backside safety, runs the vert down it, and the safety picture closes. He has to play mid-hole. He runs all the way across the field in the end zone, dislodges the ball. Then he sits out for a full series. And I'm like, you're a first rounder at Toledo. You should never come off the field. Caleb Downs doesn't come off the field. Thieneman doesn't come off the field. And I'm watching them back to back to back. I'm watching full flow. Whereas a guy with a PFF is just sitting there watching him play mid-hole safety and then just watching that over and over again, or watching his interception clips, or watching his PBU clips. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a different process to watching full game flow and seeing who that player is on a down-to-down basis. I think that's far more important, by the way, than just watching his cut-ups.
Yeah.
You know? This is a highlight guy. This is a cut-ups guy. This is a down-to-down excellence guy.
Yes.
Even though, don't watch that Indiana tape unless you just want to find out if he's tough, because he gets his ass knocked around in that football game. Everybody knows who my strong safety is.
Mr. Caleb Downs.
Yep.
Been that way for about 2 years now.
Yep,
3 years.
That's my guy. We didn't do running back on offense, did we?
No, we did not.
we did not.
Notre Dame room. Just drafted.
Yeah,
Just drafted
basically.
Notre Dame room. It's in my notes. It's right there. It's anticlimactic. As is my draft grade on Jeremiah Love. I allow myself every year a guy that I do not have to go through a draft grade with. I just watch the tape and enjoy it and just know he's going to be a dude, no doubt. I put it on D&D and just shut it off. He's going to be a dude, no doubt. I ain't got to worry about it. That is my guy in a dude, no doubt category, Jeremiah Love. The only question is, can I give him 20 totes?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big one.
And for some reason, I feel like if I do, we're already up, and then he can sit.
Probably.
Like if Notre Dame gave him 20 totes in 3 quarters, they would have been up by 17 points in almost every game. It would feel like. All right, corner. Let's go there. You know who I really like? A.J. Halsey from LSU.
That's funny because someone in chat just asked about him.
Buddy is so thick. I mean, I thought he killed Caden Lee in that Ole Miss game.
Oh, dude, that was a big hit.
Yeah, buddy. We had a big turnover in that one, too. Let's go to corner. Now, this is changing for me because I rewatched Chris Johnson today from San Diego State. I really like him, okay? I really like his ability to start and stop. Is very, very patient. I was watching a video from Nick Saban today. He said, the most important thing is your ability to play in the half turn, okay? In other words, be here, be able to stop, and then catch whatever's going with you, right? He said, everybody gets so caught up in pedals. And I just got done watching Chris Johnson, and Chris Johnson is so elite at being patient, waiting for it to come because he knows I can get on top right now out of this half turn. That first and foremost. The other thing, he could bump and run, play great man-to-man coverage. All right, big, long, about 6'1", 200 pounds, 31-inch arms. Okay, big questions about comp coming from San Diego State. I mean, I got a note on the board that says don't watch their best 3, watch them versus the best 3. I mean, I'm pulling Cal. I'm pulling San Jose State. You know what I mean? These other corners it's Jermod McCoy lined up against Jeremiah Smith. So it's a little bit different of a grading curve for those
Right.
guys. I love Mansour from LSU, a little bit undersized, and I love Avion Terrell from Clemson. Now, here's the scary part about Avion. Avion tweaked his hamstring in the lead up to his combine, and then tried to run his 40 at his pro day, tweaked it again, ran 4.6.
Oh.
Yeah, not good, okay, but the tape is immaculate, all right? The tape is really, really good, and I love the idea that he's tough enough. You know, I told Jonathan early in the process, he reminds me a lot of Kamari Lassiter. You know, there's a lot, and he's not even as big as Kamari. He's a little bit smaller.
Right.
But there was a lot of, he's not big enough, he's not fast enough, but man, he is a good football player. Talk about Kamari. It's the same feelings I get about Avion.
Yeah.
We might have to play him in the nickel. Maybe he's not fast enough, and then come to find out he stays out there and he's one of the league's best.
Do you think that guys like that also get a benefit of the doubt because of the name?
No, his is the opposite. People look at him and go, "Why isn't he his brother?" People look at him and go, "Why isn't he AJ's size?" AJ's 6'2". AJ's long.
And it's funny you say that because there's some people that would tell you that he's a better prospect right now than AJ was coming out.
Oh, the individual tape is excellent. Guys, this guy had 5 forced fumbles this year.
That's
crazy
a lot
as a
for a
corner.
corner.
You know what that means? And when you watch it, you know what's obvious out of all of these guys? The corner position takes more plays off than any position I studied. Now, I understand why. They have to run long distances, and we don't want to be in the gas, and we don't need to be in the gas because the next play we might get head-topped if we're not careful. I get it. I do. But Avion Terrell doesn't subscribe to this theory. Avion Terrell sprints to the ball every single play, and it's why he's got 5 forced fumbles. So his playmaking score on my chart went through the roof because we have interceptions and we have 5 forced fumbles. I mean, we turned that LSU game on its head with a forced fumble. So, yeah, that's what I got board-wise. I've put in some player grades on all these guys, and we'll find out more about that if they ask tomorrow on Le Batard. I doubt they care to worry about my grading system. But there's a lot that goes into those, different categories. If you want those, let me know. I'll walk you through my process.
All right. Now it's time to talk about it, Jay Will.
What?
Talk about what?
Y'all were over here whispering about something. What happened?
Do we? We don't need to talk about that. I don't think. I think we're good on that
What?
tonight. He keeps wanting to talk about the Lincoln Riley quote.
Let's
and
talk about it. We ain't got much else but What If Wednesday. What do you want to talk about? Or do you want to talk about this guys that the NFL doesn't get?
That's what I wanted.
I want to talk
Alright.
about this.
That's
Alright,
more
fine.
topical.
You know
than
what?
mine,
I don't
we
think the
won't
NFL gets the LT Overton's just a really good football player.
Yeah,
Fair.
that's fair.
I think I am confused, however, why we got so much worse as an athlete because we were a 5-star. You know, we were the number 1 player in the 2023 class before we reclassed into the 2022 class, and then we ended up in that top 45 range. But we spent 4 years in college, and I don't think we got better as an athlete, but we're a damn good football player. Just turn on the film.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the first guy I have on
Yes,
this.
I do like Cisse from South Carolina.
Yeah,
by the
he's
way.
a good football player.
Yeah.
Came from NC State, South Carolina. Really good football player.
He took over a film study we had earlier in the year, didn't he?
He sure did.
Like, who the f- 16?
Yeah.
16's out here killing people.
South Carolina, despite the
What
fact.
game was that?
I think that
Was that
Probably
NC
Virginia
State?
Tech.
Yeah, it
they-
was.
did
when
they
we were
play
watching
NC
Highwood
State?
Smothers, I think. Let me see.
I don't know who it was, but we were watching some quarterback
No,
or
they wouldn't have
something.
played NC State.
And Cisse was just murdering people to start the football game.
Yeah, despite how South Carolina's football program has been over the past couple of years, they've nailed some big-time transfers on the defensive side of the football, Cisse being one of them. The first guy I have on this list for myself, now this isn't like – this guy isn't really being disrespected that much. He's projected as a third-round draft pick. I think he kind of fits there considering what the rest of the room looks like in this class at wide receiver. Malachi Fields, though, I feel like it's just going to end up being one of these really solid, long-time NFL football players. Like the last 3 years of his college career, he was just Mr. Consistent. 811 receiving yards, 808 receiving yards, 630 this past year at Notre Dame. 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. The guy just produces.
But he
And-
ran slow, Jonathan.
I know, and that's the thing. But I would also say that track record with receivers that run kind of slow, it's not bad.
Go ahead and tell him what Jerry Rice ran at the Combine, Jonathan.
Jerry Rice, Drake London didn't have a great 40-yard time either at the NFL Combine. I mean,
Oh, Drake London was 4.4, wasn't he?
no, I don't think so.
I'll look that up.
Okay, you look that up, but I do not
I know
believe
Jerry
he
was like 4.68.
Okay. There's
That's
a
a
couple,
different era of football too, though.
True.
Different turf, too. He's probably out there running in turfers.
But yeah, Malachi Fields, I think,
Brad
is
tennis
like,
shoes
Yeah, they're
on.
running in Nike Monarchs.
Malachi Fields, I think, is just one of these guys of the rest of the wide receiver class is viewed differently than he is. But I think that a couple years down the road, it might be like, dang, they got Fields in the third round. He ended up being a really solid player.
Yeah, another one I have on this list, and this kind of goes along the lines of measurables not really there, and that's why they're not high on this list, but just a really, really solid football player. I think Michael Taft is someone who could end up being a really solid player for any NFL team that drafts him. Now, I get it. He's not – there's nothing that he has metrics-wise that's going to jump off the page for you. He's a little bit undersized for the position, but I do think that there is a world where solid football players just find ways to carve out careers, and he is one of these guys.
Is anybody you're out on? Like, I have forbidden myself from watching Proctor tape again. Oh, you got a whole board. Is this a whole board of guys you're not drafting?
So
What's up with the J Love stuff? Because your boss over here just said he's a dude, no doubt.
And I don't
So
disagree with that. So I have this list up here, and these are just 3 names that I would be a little hesitant drafting where they are currently projected.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
have Jeremiah Love, I have Jermon McCoy, and I have Caden Proctor. Jeremiah Love I am a fan of, but I don't think I want to draft Jeremiah Love with the 5th overall pick or the 4th overall pick. I think if you want to take him with the 9th overall pick or the 10th overall pick, I think that's better slotted for him. And actually history says so as well at the running back position. If you're going to take one in the first round, don't take it very early.
Both of the Tennessee corners invented a new scouting term for me. It's called because I got to contact. Oh, the ball's coming at me. I guess I got to. I guess I got to kind of pretend to stick my nose in. I saw Jamal McCoy at one point literally like escort a guy to the ground.
Yeah, Jamal McCoy for me is purely based on the fact of we are potentially drafting a guy in the top 15 when he hasn't played football for an entire year. We haven't seen it. Now, it looked great 2 years ago. It looked great during that 2024 season, but drafting a guy at corner, and now there's also some of these other medical things happening right now.
What if I were
just kinda scares
to
me.
bring up the name Will Johnson?
Or Derek Stingley.
It's fair. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I get
I'm
it.
a little hesitant.
I was just trying to play devil's advocate.
No,
I mean,
completely fair. Again, this is just my list.
He's corner like 4 for me.
And then the Caden Proctor one, if you draft that man in the first round, I think you should be fired.
It's going to happen.
I know it is.
Buddy, I've seen as early as 12.
And I feel like this is like NFL draft people are falling for the same thing that college football people did for the last 3 years with Caden Proctor. And it's, holy cow, look how beautiful he looks. Look at the size.
I'll fix him.
And then you go and turn on the tape, and I don't think it's first-round caliber tape, in my opinion, and I don't know if we're ever going to get that out of him. You want to take him in the 3rd round, whatever, but first round, way too rich for my blood.
I mean, I would watch Kenyon Sadiq in warm-ups and draft him in the first round. I think I might be wrong, though. I don't know. Why didn't that guy perform like a freak in college?
I don't know. It was funny. Well, to be fair, this was when we were watching them against Oklahoma State when they hung 70 on them.
Yeah.
One of the rare times we got to break down Big
But
Ten film.
he was taking people for rides.
Yeah,
in
in
tape.
that film, it was, okay, this guy's a freak. This
Yeah.
guy is a dude. Now, again, it was against Oklahoma
And then we just
State.
fell off.
Yeah, then it just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally, like I said, I've forbidden myself from watching Caden Proctor tape because I know what I'll do. I'll just dog him.
And like,
I don't need to do that.
And look,
anymore.
this comes from somebody that had to watch Georgia versus Alabama tape many, many times over the past few years, and it looked the same way every single time. We had the same takeaway every single time we watched it too. Just not fast enough, not quick enough. Just run by him. And it exposes itself every time.
I mean, we got ran by like a traffic cone against Florida State.
Yeah.
And now he said that's because he came into camp heavy.
Still.
What do you know?
So let me give you $25 million to see what you come into camp at then? Like, I don't know, man. All right. We good on that?
Another name I do want to throw
I
out
got
there
two more.
that I
Just real
okay.
quick.
Let's milk it.
Obviously, this player is a very, very, very good quarterback. I'll even say that. The last 4 to 5 years of the NFL and their philosophies has been, we keep getting burned on guys that don't have enough starts in the league. Ty Simpson is a guy who's played, put together 8 to 9 very, very good games of tape. There's no doubt there. In those 8 to 9 games, it's absolutely NFL ready. Seems like he could be a day one starter for you. I don't understand why teams are throwing that theory out the window for this guy in particular. But the tape. I've seen enough because of the tape. I don't get that. And yes, the other examples are they were against lesser teams, but still.
The biggest thing terrifying me about buying so much Ty Simpson stock is the drastic drop-off Garrett Nussmeier had from 24 to 25.
Fair.
Exactly.
Because if Garrett Nussmeier would have came out in 24 with it being 25's draft, you see what I'm saying?
Dude, if Carson Beck came out in 23.
Same thing. If we would have looked at these guys and just watched their 1 year, because I would have said the same thing with Nussmeier. I'm like, look at all these NFL throws. I mean,
right.
My God, look how much he's playing on time. Look at all this stuff, and then his body broke down due to assist, but Ty's body broke down in 1 year. Mm-hmm. It's liable to believe it would have broken down in year 2.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And look, if you want to take Ty Simpson as a second-round quarterback, I am completely fine with that. But I think this idea that you're taking him in the first round,
this whole idea of drafting quarterbacks in the second round, do or don't. Either trade up in the back end of the first round and get the 5th year of a contract, or don't. Don't waste a second-round draft pick on a guy you think is a developmental prospect. Either invest in the kid and get the 5th year and think he might be your future, or don't and wait until day 2 and get a guy late in the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th and get a big guy who can chuck it. Like, I don't understand. The only guy to ever work out in the second round, from my memory, is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first one I would say, yeah. Most recent.
I'm not into this. Let's draft a quarterback in the second round. Shit or get off the pot. Do or don't.
Fair.
You either like the guy enough or you do not.
That's fair.
I got 4 other names now. Two of them, they kind of combine into one. Either one of Katron Allen or Nick Singleton, I think, is going to end up working out in the NFL and end up being a really good running back. I mean, these were the 2 guys of when you started lists like best running backs in college football going into the 2025 season, it started with one of those 2. Maybe Jeremiah Love at the time as well, but really those 2 guys were all the talk around running backs in college football. And Penn State just ended up having a really bad year, and they got caught up in the mix of it. But I think one of those 2 guys is going to end up being really good in the league. Torian York being projected in the 5th round, I get it. The size, all those things, but just a really, really good football player. Definitely. I hope it works out. I hope it works out for him because he's fun to watch, and I think he'll end up being really good if we can just get around the size issues.
Here's a hot take. Torian York will be a head coach of a football team before he is 34 years old.
Okay. Wow, okay.
If it doesn't work out for him, he has got to be able to teach people what he sees.
Yeah.
Because it's not like one of these great football players that's just winning because he's great. Like, I highly doubt Arvell Reese could go teach a middle school team how to play great defense right now, but Torian York damn sure could.
Yeah.
I bet your buddy could.
And I think that's why part of me thinks maybe it does end up working out in the NFL because we are so instinctual, because we are so smart that maybe that can get us around the size metrics.
Will Compton made it 10 years.
Wow.
And then my final name on the list is
9 3/4, almost 10. Damn the Falcons.
Harrison Wallace. He's being projected in the 6th round, the Ole Miss wide receiver, and I know why. He ran a 4.54 at the NFL Combine. I liked him at Ole Miss.
How though? He was supposed to be this burner coming from Penn State.
I know he was, and I think that I don't know game speed, man. Game speed looks a little different than it does at the NFL Combine. That's what I would go to. And when he does play on the football field, when he did play on Saturdays, it looked really good.
We got a whole another 58 minutes coming up on the other side of this break. See ya on the other side.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Wednesday evening. It is our local hour. We got a great one planned for you guys. I need you first and foremost, hit that thumbs up button, fire off in that chat, tell a friend if you haven't already. Here's the deal. If every single person that watches this live stream today, that includes the rewatchers, if you just grab somebody's phone and subscribe to us, we'd be at 100,000 just like that. I mean, that's all I need. That's all I need, even if they unsubscribe from us. But they won't because they'll be hooked just like you are. We got a great one for you. We got depth check tonight. We're going to go back through the depth chart after watching the spring game. However, this is special edition. This is how Brooks Austin would play the roster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's how Brooks Austin will play the roster. So we're going to get nice and self-indulgent tonight. Last thoughts on NFL draftees. Expecting a dozen or so dogs to be taken
Yeah, I'd
this
say
weekend.
about 10 or 11 solidly.
Baker's dozen potentially. We might get a couple. But, yeah, we'll have that for you guys tonight as well. A little farewell to some Georgia football players. What?
Do you know what a Baker's dozen is?
It's 13, isn't it?
There you go. All right.
Yeah,
Just
I
making
mean,
sure because
not after I get done with it. It's 11 by the time I hand it to the wife and kids.
Just making sure.
Yeah, no. Okay. Depth check?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go straight to the board and get right into this. We're teasing the people, not giving them Kirby's top 5. I mean, god dang.
yeah, I bet they're just sitting
I was
in their
about
chair
to
waiting
say, I
for it.
I can feel the
You know what?
visceral
I haven't been
anger
angry
right now as we
today. I can't
speak.
wait for this.
Yeah, you know what? I've been pissed off today.
Bro.
Let's go watch the Film Guy Network.
The best part is rage baiting the rage baiter.
I'm
We're
not
rage baiting the
baiting,
rage
dude.
baiter right now.
I'm not
All right,
rage
boys,
baiting.
breaking news. Cut the bull. It is time to officially announce that I have bought into the propaganda.
Oh, no. Really? Wow.
At left?
At any one of them.
Okay.
I don't care. Let's just do it.
Put 'em
and
in.
I'll tell you why here in just a second, okay? We got 74 in here. I'd play 50 before anybody else after that. And then 55, Zakai Helton. Here's the deal.
Dang, you broke up Don Juan?
This guy did. This guy, his margin for error is just so large. Like there's multiple clips from G-Day where we take like one kick slide, we give it like a half of a kick slide, and then we just throw our hands. And I told Jonathan, it's like Chase Linton's got to run around the daggum goalpost to get back to the quarterback. Like we're so long and we're so big, and we're finally figuring out how to move people in the run game, and we actually know what we're doing. It was just a matter of time, I think, that this guy was going to figure it out, and I think he's finally figured it out. We're talking about Josh Jackson, by the way, for people in the chat that don't know numbers. 71 will rotate Ernest Green at one of the guard spots. We know that.
We didn't play
Tackle spots.
Tackle spots, my bad.
We
What's
didn't
up?
play What If Wednesday in the National Hour, so I'll do a mini one right here. What if he doesn't take that next step? What if he's not playable right now? How different do you feel about this offensive line room?
Who, Ja?
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, Ernest is more than playable at the tackle spot.
But still, isn't it nice that you have that, essentially the third tackle available to you, fourth tackle even?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since Georgia's had 3 playable tackles. Last year they did not. Mm-hmm. Last year they had 2.
No, they had 3.
Juan towards the end of the year, but he was playing guard. most
Yeah,
of the year.
but you knew Juan could be playable at tackle, and you had Monroe and Ernest.
And we
But-
didn't have Ernest for a
But
good
when
portion
they were
of
at
the year.
guys, when they were at Tennessee, Juan was having to play guard, and we're out there circling Unai and Bo Hewley at tackle.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
So it won't be that situation this year.
Okay.
Okay. And I do think this looks good too. Ekeniak Boko. I think by year's end he'll be on the bus and ready to play. Who am I forgetting in here? Oh, by the way, I thought Marcus Harrison had a really good spring.
Did look
game.
good.
I mean, man stuff, like really moving people against their will. He had a good spring. I feel like I'm forgetting a name here. Malachi Tolliver. But I think we definitely have gotten past it by Cortez Smith. The question is, can we find avenues to play guard at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's still some questions about the 2 guard spots, like who's the reserve. It's just
There's 10 names on the board right there that I feel good about.
yeah.
Okay? So plenty deep at offensive line. Let's go to quarterback real quick. Here's how I would do it. Okay? Fight for your life. All of you. All of you. And I don't think there's a pecking order at this point anymore. We're just going to let y'all fight for your life. Now, obviously by August 30th,
Yeah, got to have somebody.
the week before September 5th, we have to have named a backup inside the room. But, yeah, we would still be sharing reps. I don't think there's a clear-cut 2.
I think that's good.
You guys feel there's a clear-cut 2 tomorrow?
No, I
No,
don't.
I
But I
don't.
honestly don't think it's a bad thing that you get to prolong the competition with those guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. Like, let's say hypothetically, we're in a game, Gunner Gunner loses. We're not even going to wish injury. Gunner loses his helmet for a play.
Yeah.
Who they marching on the field?
Tomorrow, probably Ryan Puglisi
Yeah, that's what I'd say so too.
for that play.
Okay.
Now, if you ask me, hey, Gunner's down for the next 2 quarters, we have to play someone who's not going to lose the game, it would be Ryan Montgomery. So I didn't. By the way, the second half, if you watch the film study, I didn't think Ryan Montgomery played that bad.
No, I thought
we knocked off some of the cobwebs in the first half. You got to remember, that's a guy who hadn't played football since 18 months.
Yeah, really.
It's been 18 months, so it had some settling in on that performance on Saturday. Okay, let's go to running back. Here's again how I would do it. I'm not saying this is how they're doing it. I'm saying this is how I would do it. Okay, y'all did some recruiting to keep Chauncey Bowens. I broke Chauncey and Bowens here. To keep Chauncey and Nate on this football team, they're gonna get primary roles. Okay, now the next question is,
as they should.
How do we get Dowdle 10-ish? Okay, touches. Whether that be 3 tosses out of the backfield and 7 carries, whether that be 5 and 5, whatever it is, Dowdle's got to touch the ball 10 times next year. All right, and then Peanut is first up. Okay, and we ride that if the hand is hot. All right, against Florida, we give him 12 touches because we know they can't run. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
if we go up, Florida can't run right now. They might be able to by the end of the year, but they're big and slow right now. But by the end of the year, they might be better.
And I think that you kind of get into that discussion this season where when you want to talk about Dowdell and Peanut, it's really just let's give them both a couple carries, and whoever's burning that day, that's who the rest of the carries are probably going to go to, in my opinion.
This very much feels like, and I hate doing the comp, and I've done it before, the 2017, where you have the 1-2 punch, the change of pace guy at 3 who can just gash you when you're not expecting it. And then, oh, by the way, the 4 and 5 are also very, very good running backs for you as well.
I don't know if I should give that answer right now. I found out an answer as to why they went away from Peanut last year.
Okay.
Have we guessed it off air before?
Did I not tell y'all Saturday?
No.
Just had to narrow the rotation.
Okay.
And I wonder if that happened last year, if it's going to happen this year.
Sure.
At some point, it's not like we can't go into games trying to get 4 people touches.
Now,
it's just not how it works. No one gets into a groove.
But to be fair, I mean, they were giving 4 guys touches last year because it was Chauncey and Nate, and then it was Cash, and it was McCray. So Peanut could be in the 4-guy rotation this year.
You're right. Maybe it was 5 was too many.
5 is too many, in my opinion.
I think 4 is too many, personally.
Yeah, it can be.
It is what it is. All right, let's move on. Tight end, it's a great room, right? It's a great room. It's an Elias and room. I still feel that way. Now, here's what's gotten really, really weird. Okay, how do you play these guys? Maybe you give Elias some time off every once in a while. But it kind of feels like this guy is making a move, okay? And then there's, of course, Ethan, all right? And I think those are the guys that absolutely have to play.
Correct.
That's a lot of bodies that have to
yeah.
play. Mm-hmm. This guy made such a big leap, Riddell. This even in my opinion, like just I know what they kept telling us, but it finally popped for me.
Yeah, it felt like for the last 2 or 3 years, it's like, man, he looks so good in photos, but if he could only just translate it to the field, and we haven't seen that yet, and finally it looks like we're finally getting to see it.
Honestly, thank goodness Caden Prothero can play wide receiver. Because if he couldn't, what are you really going to do?
Somebody's hitting the portal. It's a great thing that he can. Let's talk about him right now in that F spot. They call it F. I call it slot. Whatever it is. I think it's Prothero's job, okay? And we get Zacoby White-Helton in there as well. With a backup being Tyler Williams.
It feels also like Prothero and Zacoby are such different body types and different tools that you would use.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to utilize them differently. It's like, I don't know if there's going to be a he's our 1, he's our 2. It might be he's our big package guy. He's our, hey, we need to now get the ball to him type thing.
I think you just constantly rotate them out there and you have defensive personnel packages in the box going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Oh, no.
You know, I guarantee there's going to be somebody in the assistance booth this year that counts Prothero as a tight end by accident, forgetting the scouting report. Because he's just going to see the human and go, oh, that's 12. No, it's not.
And the fact that with him playing in the slot, you'll see him starting out closer to the end of the line of scrimmage and be like, oh, yeah, there's another tight end out there. No, it's not.
And they're huddling. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. Good on the slot position?
Yep.
Where does Dangerous fit in? I'm going to call him a Z.
I'd say Z.
I would go Z as well. It also feels like that's
Which
a
is your
position.
deepest position at the wide receiver spot,
is.
in my opinion. London, Talon, and
Hell, throw Landon in there.
Danders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Roldan
Landon
somewhere.
Roldan's a player I even completely left off of my list now that I'm looking at it. Where does Roldan – he played the Z spot on
He played
Saturday,
the Z.
right?
They put him in the slot a little bit.
All right, so we just put Landon over here.
Yeah, he's somewhere in between those two.
Landon Roldan. And for that matter, I'm going to put Jeremy Bell over here.
Yeah,
he got a lot of burn.
Just find a role, get him on the field, get him a touch, do something. And then the X spot is 3 names, Isaiah, CJ, and then a gap, and then Thomas Blackshear. Mm-hmm. Looks plenty deep when you look at it like that. What if we went 700 yards, 600 yards, 600 yards, 400 yards, 400 yards?
That's a lot of
Gunnar
yards.
Stockton's throwing for over 4K if that's the case.
No, that's all. I only marked off like 2,700 yards, guys.
Yeah, and you didn't even talk about Sokovy, and you didn't even talk about the tight ends.
Okay.
Correct.
I just think it's one of those
Correct.
years. It's another one of these years. Is what I was trying to get at, where we got 6 guys that range from
No, yeah,
350
yeah.
yards
Yeah, no,
to 700
totally.
yards. I don't think it's going to be one of these years where it's 2 guys with 1,000,
Right.
and then a couple guys.
I see.
Oh,
what,
yeah,
I
no,
understand what you're
I
saying.
totally agree with
I was
that.
going for more of like everybody's going to try to get some action here.
Yeah.
That's what it's been. That's what the Georgia offense has been so long as
Until
the
Colby got
Monken
hurt.
era.
So here's what I want to run by you: the offensive philosophy. What if we took a little bit out of Indiana's playbook and said, all right, for every 1 play action 40-yard deep shot that we took last year, we're going to take 2 back shoulder attempts.
I was honestly astounded by the lack of back shoulder throws we
Last
saw
year.
from Gunnar last
Yeah.
year, considering what we
How
saw.
good he is at it.
Considering what we saw in the 24 Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, this is going to be this guy's bag.
Not to do hindsight 2020, but I did say all offseason last year, rippers and runners, get him a whole offense where he can throw the ball firm in everything that he does. No, don't even try to attempt layer throws. Just everything 1 balls, everything as hard as he can, everything back shoulders, everything straight verticals, no deep runners, all this stuff. And I think this year, if they do what they did against G-Day, or in G-Day, right? Like if I told you Georgia goes into the game and they're going to complete 7 back shoulder balls out of 11, do you think they could do that?
Yes.
All right, you realize if I complete 7 back shoulder balls, what is 7 times 15? Anybody know? Because that's about the yardage range, 15 to 17. We catch it
It's
at
about-
15, fall out of bounds at 17.
About 100.
Okay. There's 100 yards of, we think, very, very highly efficient football plays, okay? As opposed to attempting 5 deep play action 40-yard bombs and completing 1 of them. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Much easier thing to do as well. The back shoulder ball is far easier to complete than let's protect in 7-man, hope we don't get leaky off the backside edge on this deep play action rollout. Everybody's got to hold for 3.5 seconds. We got a 9-step drop, and we got to throw it 50 yards down the field and get it completed. Wide receivers got to find the ball, high point it. 1-step drop, back shoulder, which is easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Like,
totally.
I think we're going to see this a lot more. I was having a conversation with a high school offensive coordinator about this. It's like everywhere I go, it's like we're doing the back shoulder RPO stuff, and we're doing way more back shoulder fades than ever before because it's easier to chunk than explosive. It's easier to 15-yard chunk than it is to consistently go 40-yard plays. So, obviously. Does that handle wide receiver?
It
That handles
does.
wide receiver. Okay, let's go over to defense. Now, I got some different takes on this defense, to be honest with you. Let's lump all the D tackles together. I think 94 and 90, McLeod and Griffin are going to play really, really well this year. I think 81 is going to play a lot of snaps this year. Joshua Horton. I think Nnamdi Ogboko is going to play a lot of snaps this year. I think Valdon Sohn is going to play a lot of snaps this year. Where is 44 at in this rotation when Jordan Hall gets back and healthy? That is a great question to ask, and everyone will be asking this offseason. Any thoughts?
Looks pretty concise and
All right,
clear.
let's go on to defensive ends, which is a position that I think has moved around just a little bit. We know Gabe Harris is going to start at this position and never come off the field unless they drag him off on a gurney. I think Joseph Jonah Ajonye is right there. All right, and then Justin Green and JJA kind of rotating. JJ Hane. Good Lord. The JJ Hane is making me short circuit. Jack, okay. We know this is Q Johnson's room, okay. And we now know after the spring that Chase Linton is behind him. Now, here are the two young football players at both these positions that I think showed me enough in G-Day where I'm like, that guy's going to play for them this fall as a true freshman. Friend of the show, might even be in the chat right now. Kamari Brooks had some great rushes on Saturday.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, the footwork, the hands, and you watched it in that breakdown of us stopping in the still frames of every single step pointing towards the quarterback. That's what efficient pass rushing looks like. I texted a source, and I don't mean to call people out. This guy made more plays in one G-Day scrimmage than I've seen the two guys that got recruited in front of him at this position have made in 18 months. And in real games, too. So, like, this kid flashed more than I expected, even as a guy who was my guy in 2026. The other one is A.J. Lonan. I think he goes by Anthony.
Yeah.
Is it Anthony? Anthony Lonan. Okay. Anthony Lonan, if I said, hey, Brooks, get drunk on some Anthony Lonan stock. I'm talking about get stumbling, bumbling your words. Ain't had a sip in 3 years drunk off Anthony Lonan stock. And then give me a player comp. Do you want it?
What you got?
James Harrison.
Ooh, interesting.
James Harrison. I'm talking about this kid is huge.
Harrison was pretty stiff, though, wasn't he?
Huh?
Harrison was pretty stiff.
No, Harrison was silverback.
Yes.
Harrison was 6 foot, 265 pounds, and a low to the ground, hard to move fire hydrant. That's what this kid is. This kid's 6'1.5". I thought he was 5'10" off some of the tape because he's playing so low. And it's so hard to block those guys because even it's not just that he's playing low, he's powerful down there at that size. And so when I push him, he doesn't move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When a tackle gets at speed rushed and ghost moved, their number one thing to do is push their hands on and try to ride the guy past the pocket. I can't do that if you're a freaking stump. And that's what this kid is. I think he's going to play. He can rush, like really, really rush. Jonathan saw it today on the film. And that's what you're now missing, right? With Amaris's injury, you're missing guys that can get home and get home now. I think this kid can get home now. I texted sources about it. I was like, hey, I need some official measurements on Anthony Lonan because we were breaking him down in the film study. I get it, and I'm like, Coach, this guy can freaking go. He's kicking rush. He's like, he can really rush. I said, like, can rush, like, play now? He's like, yeah, he's going to play. He's going to play this year for Georgia. And, again, a 3-star in-state kid, Clark Central. Nobody really was in on the mix. I think it was Georgia Tech, and he a dog. All right, so there you go. There's the jack spot. I think they're much better off than I originally intended at these two positions behind Q and Gabe.
By the way, did you notice no more cowboy collar on Q Johnson?
He's changed his look completely. I don't like it.
It's kind of drippy, though, without the cowboy
the number
collar.
3 goes hard.
He listens to the Film Guy Network. We talked about it. How you going to rock a cowboy collar with the single digit? It just don't go.
No,
he looked clean.
You know, he did. I thought he did, too. You're just a hater. You know what you didn't like? He wasn't dirty enough on Saturday.
That's
he wasn't
fair.
dirty enough.
That's fair. No, I love it when a player rocks a unique look. A cowboy collar in high 30s, you don't see, or low 30s, you don't see that anymore. Make that your look. Own it. We see single-digit drips all the time. Like, come on. Anyways, get off my lawn.
Well, that's pretty deep.
No kidding.
Uh-huh.
Pretty deep for a room that plays 2 guys. Chris Cole, Raylan Wilson, Justin Williams, Terrell Foster, Zayden Walker, who didn't play this spring, Anthony Pruitt, Nick Abrams. They think the Riddick kid's going to be really good. Pinnock. I do that every time. And you know who else ran around pretty well? Whoever the hell Little John is.
Oh, yeah. That's the guy that they flipped from Penn State late.
Little John making plays.
Yep.
I mean, he was out there running around like crazy. So, yeah, they are goofy deep.
Does something like this, when you have such a deep linebacker room, and you're not thin at defensive back, but you certainly have players to spare, does that incentivize you to maybe run some 4-3?
They don't seem to care to want to. They do not. I think it's also to look at this, not to be a bearer of bad news. Gone.
Yep.
And if Williams plays well, he's probably going too.
I think they pay him whatever it costs to get him back at the highest paid linebacker position next year.
Understandable.
Very similar to what they did with this guy. I would imagine he came back at a pretty stiff one.
For sure.
All right, so that's enough of the linebacker position. I mean, be mature over there. Be mature
Seriously,
over there.
That's what I'm saying.
Be mature over
I
there.
didn't say
We're having
anything.
serious football talk, and
I mean,
you want
God
to goof
dang,
around.
dude. Khalil Barnes, number
do
7,
anything with
is your nickel. We know this. He is your star. Here's the deal. I think this guy ought to get a shot at playing this. Jamali Riddle. If we're going to make him battle with Dink, why not just let Dink play and let him battle here at star behind Barnes and then play them both?
So he's gonna play this year?
Riddle?
He played on Saturday.
Played on Saturday.
That's
He
what I'm
was sticking
saying.
on Saturday.
That's what I'm saying. It felt like the entire prognosis.
85% as recently as Tuesday of G-Day week.
It felt like the entire prognosis was, hey, this is probably a 27 thing.
Kirby, he broke his freaking leg in the bowl game.
That's why it was like, hey, 27. That's the year we're banking on for Jamali Riddle.
Mutant. Just mutant.
Good for him,
You know,
man.
some people rehab a little bit better than others. Some people's genetics just like, I'm not going to let you stay hurt. You're going to be healthy in about 6 months.
He's Wolverine.
Perhaps. The future behind him looks to be Zach Fort. Jalen Morgan got some reps in here, but I thought he played better than
Zach
32
Fort looked
did.
great.
Yeah, Zach Fort was out here sticking. Almost kind of looks like and moves kind of like Joe Nell. Kind of looks like that, you know, big, thick. All right, let's move on from star. Let's go up to the safety position. We'll be quick here. 4, okay. 14, okay. 12, Riddle. This is Dinkins, Riddle. You got Zion Branch and Blake Stewart. Now, should be worth noting, this guy, number 23, Tyree Green, he's going to play somewhere.
He's doing it, yeah.
We just don't know where.
Is he the freshman?
What do you mean the freshman?
The one that's just like it's undeniable. It's like we got to find somewhere for this kid to play.
Yeah,
Kirby talked about him that
I've
way.
never heard that. What
Yeah.
you're alluding to, Jonathan, I've been covering Georgia since 2019. I've never, ever heard him, not even a player. I've never heard him talk about a player, where not even just a freshman, where he's like, come August, wherever we're bad, he'll just
Put
play.
the freshman. Put the
Yeah,
18.
just put that kid there. If we're bad at running back, just put him there. If we're bad at corner, just put him there. If we're bad at safety, just put him there. It's like, never heard that.
I will say, boy, what a difference a year makes for that room.
Yeah.
Because last year, no offense to anybody that was involved in that room last year, but it was, we got KJ Bolden and
I forgot Todd Robinson.
top.
He was all over that field.
The play
yeah.
he made.
Dude,
Well,
how
he didn't make the play,
how
but
mystifying was that?
yeah, he didn't make
Kirby,
the play,
I know,
but
I know
goodness.
you haven't had the chance to watch the second half G-Day scrimmage notes, but there is a play where Todd Robinson's on the left hash. He opens up to the boundary. He knocks Lincoln Key's block off on the far hash the next time we see him. And we have no idea how he
Braden
got there.
Fogel.
It was Braden Fogel, excuse me. No idea how he got there. It should have been a touchdown pass, but somehow Todd makes it a big collision. It was crazy. He's covering so much ground. They're going to play. They're going to be good at that spot. We know corner. Corner's easy. It's Ellis, DeMello, Conley, and Jonte Gilbert.
Do they 4-man that or do they 3-man that?
I think you 2-man that until someone gets hurt. I think you play Ellis Robinson and DeMello Jones until their freaking tongues dragging. That's what I think.
Well, I just know in the even when we had Kamari Lassiter and Dalen Everett, which was your solid 1-2, there was a third. Like even in 2022 when it was Ringo and Lassiter, there was some put Dalen Everett out there for a few plays.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering.
That's
Like,
a great question. I didn't even see Kyron Jones this spring. Did you?
No.
No.
Yeah.
That's one of those things I can't.
You just hope to see them back soon.
Yep.
We hope to get them back soon.
Where are we going next, boys? That was the depth check. I enjoyed doing that.
It's the last day before the NFL draft.
Yeah, man. We're about to say farewell.
The official.
Goodbye, my friend. What is the?
Oh, you doing
What
the
is
sound of music song?
No, that's in the box, out of the box. so long for now to you, my friend.
Not ringing a bell for me.
For now, until we meet again. I said so long. Come on, man. Y'all aren't out of the box, kids?
No, it's not ringing a bell for me.
With the big bear? I got somebody in the chat. I hope.
Bear in the Big Blue House?
No. It's called Out of the Box. It still holds up. I was watching it with my kids the other day.
I haven't seen that, no.
Draft farewells?
Mm-hmm.
Who do we want to say goodbye to first?
We could start with the guy that probably is going to be the first one off the board, in Monroe Freeling.
Let's do it. What do y'all got for Monroe? What do you remember most?
The thing I'll remember most about Monroe Freeling is one of two things. It will, for one, be him being inserted as a true freshman against Vanderbilt.
In Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the first thing that I remember. And then every time I think about Monroe Freeling, I think the one clip that will forever be ingrained into my mind is him playing on one foot against Auburn. And you wouldn't be able to know or tell. Mm-hmm. And he was playing with his hair on fire, playing harder than anybody else, gutted out that performance. Whew. Those are the two things that I'll remember about him.
You know what I'll remember?
Chopping wood.
Just keep chopping, baby. Just keep chopping. That's all you got to do. Just got to keep chopping, Christian.
Yeah. Here's a good selling point for any NFL organization that wants to draft Monroe Freeling. Don't ever worry about the message getting stale with Mr. Freeling. Whatever is being relayed to him, he will live and breathe that in the best way possible.
That's all he's got. It'd be like a recorder that you accidentally hit that's got you saying the same thing over and over again. That's Monroe. He is your recorder. He is your repeater. Yeah. Inside the office, inside the building, just keep chopping.
And he plays that way.
God, he plays hard. Mm-hmm. That's the things I remember most are the 2024 Tennessee game. Mm-hmm. That was when I was like, oh. I think I came back and said on film study, y'all better enjoy this one. This is going to be a first rounder in about 18 months.
Yep.
Bingo. He was. And at the time, about 2 months later, everybody said he sucked because Notre Dame got him.
That's what my memory is.
Because he was playing with one arm.
Trying to convince people all throughout the offseason of like, man, if number 57 touches the field again, Gunnar Stockton's going to die. It's like, no, guys, you don't understand. This is a very, very good tackle.
He was first round draft pick.
And top 10 pick.
He was injured. He was hurt.
I will also always remember that he is a yogi.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
He's a yogi.
You almost had me writing that in the freaking NFL draft profile I did on him today. I almost put, Mom is a yoga instructor, by the way. I was like, I'm not putting that in my article.
You would sound like a ball knower.
The word limit, dude. You
gotta get to 400. Gotta get there somehow,
I got
dog.
to 400 without it, all right?
God.
Didn't need it.
I sat down and wrote for the first time the other day. It was tough.
Yeah,
dude. It's not easy.
I mean, whew.
Got to get the reps in, baby.
I was rusty.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I didn't like it. Yeah, no. So I had something else on Monroe. What was it? Oh, the Alabama play that I showed you.
Oh, yeah.
Of him
stepping over.
Like 3 guys ran all the way down the field. Had nothing to do with the play. Just wanted to go down there and walk over some dead bodies.
Yep.
Love that.
Wanted to be in the mix.
That guy loves football.
He does.
I love people who love football. I love me some Monroe Freeling.
Mm-hmm.
Who we got next?
Kristen Miller. Would have been
T's
nice.
and P's.
Yep.
T's and P's.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to have this conversation with him tonight.
Yeah, it would have been dope.
We had a good show planned. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. I got a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say this.
I got a lot. This would be the last guy that I was relatively close to coming out of high school. This would be the last commitment video I ever shoot. I ain't shooting another one of those. Not unless my kid commits for something. We're done. So there's a lot that I got here, so I'll let y'all go first.
I don't know if I would call this a rarity necessarily, because I feel like Georgia does a really good job of making sure that you have guys like this consistently in the program. And what I'm alluding to is guys that stick around for 4 years. Stick around, and they're a Georgia Bulldog from the time that they commit.
Flirted with it.
He did. He flirted with it, but ultimately did not, and we won't ever remember that part about it. We'll just remember the fact that this guy repped the red and black for 4 years. Could have gone to the league last year if he wanted to, but came back, had a fantastic year. One of the more consistent defensive linemen you'll find, I would say, about Kristen.
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks out most to me about him is when you're a college-age student, you want to be around football players because they are the local celebrities. They are the football players. You would want to be around Kristen Miller because he was just that great of a personality and that much of a fun hang. Like, obviously, he had fantastic moments on the field in his 4 years at Georgia are super impactful, but what always stood out to me most was like that's someone you would want to have a conversation with. Where some of the guys that have come through here, it's not as much that. It's like, Yeah,
you get Kristen Miller for media availability, and you're about to get a good 10 minutes.
Definitely.
I don't think I've ever met a young man that young that owned rooms that early. That kid would walk into a room as a 15-year-old and own it. Just a joy, a lightning beam of energy that walks into the room. That's what this kid is. A different type of lightning beam energy that Jordan Davis had.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis feels like a walking joy and love, like just an amoeba of joy and love until you watch football. And then you watch the football and it's like, oh my God, what is that? But yeah, very similar energies there from Kristen. The commitment video was a joy to shoot. You're talking about a natural. That kid he knew exactly what he wanted and how he wanted it laid out and the shots that he wanted. There's a shot where he's making breakfast, him and his mom, and it was his idea to put the camera in the fridge and like put it behind the eggs, and he's like reaching for the eggs.
He was influencing before anybody was.
Brother, I'm telling you, like he's gifted. And also, like I wish he was here tonight, so I wanted to ask him. I bet there were some people during the process that made him think he didn't love football like he was supposed to, because he dares to have any interest outside of football. He dares to be a personality. He dares to be interested in music. He dares to be joyful. You know what I mean? He dares to smile.
This guy likes life too much. I don't think
you're joking. There are people who believe that.
Yeah,
there are people who are like, I'm not drafting anybody who's not just all about football. I don't want him to have a life outside of the building. I just want him to do this. And if you show anything at all, I guarantee you there was somebody in the draft process that was like, do you even love football, son? And I wish I would have gotten the opportunity to ask him about that. I probably will on Friday, because he is not all about football, but he's damn good. If you watch him, he's all about football. It's obvious.
Sure.
His perfection as a defensive lineman is why he is what he is. He's perfect in his fundamentals and technique. Who's next?
C.J. Allen.
Oh, yeah, I got a very intimate one about this one, too.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, so Kristen's the only high school athlete to ever ask me, hey, can we watch film together? So we did. During his recruitment process, we would watch, and early on in his junior and senior year, we would, hey, here's who we got coming up. We'd watch the film. I'd give him some tips and trades, and we'd be on Zoom watching Huddle. That's the only athlete to ever do that and ask for that. And I think he got some joy out of that and learned something out of that. I certainly learned a lot from him. But CJ, and this is so CJ Allen, I've told this story before, but I used to tweet out on Fridays during the offseason, hey, I got time. Let's watch some film. I'll give you some tips and trades. And instead of replying, he sent me a DM. He's like, here's my highlights. And he was a junior or a sophomore. He just finished up his sophomore year, going into his junior year, already had offers from 40 schools everywhere. He's running sub-11 in the 100 already. He was obviously going to be a thing. And he was sending me his Huddle clips asking for tips. He's like, what do you think? And I think my first response was like, buddy, you don't need my help. Like, you don't need this. But just, that's him. You know, Kirby said the same thing when he got there. There was never a moment where C.J. Allen didn't attack everything as if this wasn't coming. You know what I mean? Like this type of impact and this type of career, and this is where he was going. There was never a moment where he didn't act and work like that.
To speak on that, I mean, it's obvious that this was his ultimate goal, because at Pro Day, they're doing interviews, and he starts getting choked up talking about, like, leaving Athens and going to the NFL. Like, it was obvious that this is something he has been working his entire life for, and he feels the weight of that.
CJ is like one of those players that as soon as he got onto the field, like I can remember watching him against Ole Miss in 2023, filling in for an injured JDJ, and you just knew like that's 3 years and it's done, and it's not gonna last very long, and it didn't. That career felt like it lasted in a second.
So my dad's called me about 2 Georgia football players in 8 years doing this, where he's watching them on Saturday. And my dad don't know ball like I do, but he's watched a lot of ball in his years. 2 players. He called me in 2019 and said, who's that number 17 playing linebacker? I said, that would be one to Kobe Dean. Just look out for him. Good ball player.
Yep.
He called me in 2023 and said, who's that number 33? I said, that would be one CJ out. It's like he's got a pretty good eye for these mics.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, he's been a dude for a long time, and he will continue to be that in the league. What else?
Colby Young. There you go.
Colby Young. We think he's going that high?
No. He's just next on the list.
Oh, okay. The Miami game against A&M. My God. Whew. He never looked so good. He ain't never looked that good.
My biggest memory of Colby Young is that catch he makes in the Sugar Bowl and me thinking, God, if you had just 12 games of
Or
him.
that catch against Clemson to start the season.
Yeah, like there were small moments
short.
where it's just like, man, what could have been the career that this kid could have had with Georgia.
And I think even if this past season got fully played out for him, if he had not gotten injured during his final year at Georgia, like ignore all the other stuff. If he got one full final season at Georgia, I think we're looking at a completely different draft grade for him, to be honest. But I think that because of what his career ultimately ended up being, he's going to be a 5th or 6th round draft pick. But he's probably also going to be a guy that remains on rosters until he's done with football.
Definitely.
He also might be a guy that in 3 years is playing tight end.
Could be.
Guys, he's like 220.
Mm-hmm. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
That's why the A&M tape at Miami is so weird because he's like it looks like he's like 195 pounds.
Yeah.
But he can run.
But the thing is, his weight isn't bad.
No. It's good weight, but like we don't move like we did when we were really young.
Yeah, that's
when we were
fair.
really young, we moved like 6'5" first rounders.
Mm-hmm.
So
good personality on him too.
Yeah.
From the interactions that I had with him over the past season, I'd say like maybe when you watch him play football, you wouldn't expect it, but like not a soft-spoken person, but an easy-spoken person,
Very much
and just
so,
like
yeah.
always smiling,
Still
like
has
a
a
very
baby
happy
face,
feeling
too.
person.
took well to the Georgia PR training, perhaps.
Perchance.
Maybe.
Perchance.
Who's next?
Zachariah Branch.
Ah, yes.
I'd just say Mr. Professional. Like, he's just a professional in every aspect of his life and as a football player. I know it comes at an ironic time considering what just recently happened, but I would still stand by it.
Yeah, I mean,
anytime, like when you listen to him at the NFL Combine, when you listen to him during his time at Georgia, when you listen to anybody else talk about him, that dude is a professional, and he knows how to go about his ways as a football player. And I think he certainly attacked this past offseason the right way, and it benefited him greatly.
No, for sure. I mean, there isn't one moment he made this year. It felt like you could pick one from each game that he played in. I was like, damn, that was the Zachariah Branch moment. His game against Florida was one of the more impressive, like, oh, this is why he was brought here games, even though he had been doing that all season.
The first touchdown against Tennessee, I was like, what is this?
Defied every freaking angle
I was on the backside pylon and saw Turntine, I think it was, had the short side angle, and I'm watching Turntine's angle on him, and I'm at the same angle, and all of a sudden he starts doing this, and I see took off like a rocket.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, whoa. Also, like, the idea of watching when he landed at Georgia and the whole reaction was Georgia got a 5-star, Georgia got their next guy, this might be their next 1,000-yard receiver. The first inclination from USC fans was he drops the ball, he sucks. And then we watched the USC tape, and they got him running deep overs, and guys are hanging all over him, and the catch radius is limited. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we said on the film was, stop all this, just get him the ball now. Yep. Just let him stop. Throw the ball at him, let him catch it, and just watch people try to tackle him. And that's basically what Georgia did with him. Yeah. And he had almost 800 yards receiving.
811.
Almost 900 yards receiving.
811 yards.
That's all you got to do with him in the next level, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys, NFL guys are going to struggle to tackle that guy, too. Just throw it to him.
In one season at Georgia compared to 2 seasons at USC, he had more receptions in the 2 years combined. He had like 30 yards less in the 2 seasons combined, and I think he tripled his touchdown count.
Yeah, and by the way, the yards per attempt and yards per reception did not drop.
No.
Mm-hmm. They stayed the same. So all this like, oh, they didn't use him like an NFL team does. You're right. They don't use him like an NFL wide receiver because he's different. He's a different body type. There's not a lot of NFL receivers who are 5'8". Still, not a lot of them. And most of them are elite after the catch, and this guy is. So that's how I would use him. I don't have a unique story about him.
No.
Oh, no, I do. When he was getting recruited out of high school, I remember a buddy of mine having to go out and play him from Brookwood. and he came back talking about that kid like he was the next Eric Berry. I mean, he was like,
He was rated as
this
that.
this guy absolutely obliterated us. I mean, first half, I think he scored 7 touchdowns.
Oof.
I mean, he made college players look goofy. I can't imagine what he did to high school football players. It's just
Pants down.
Yeah.
Just dropping them.
Dalen Everett.
Dude. So I'm so happy that we all as a unit fought off the Dalen Everett haters in 2023 to the point where he is now was a very, very solid cornerback, one for 2 seasons for you, was a very reliable guy, will be a second, third round draft pick, despite the fact that people in 2023 said that he was a terrible player.
You know what I love about our audience? Our audience has gotten to the point now where they're almost like cultish, and they're like this ball knower society, and anybody outside of it looks at them like, don't bring me that. And like I see this all the time with the like Mike Bobo stuff. If anybody says something negative about Mike Bobo, I get tagged in it left and right. And then the original poster's like, oh my God, please don't bring this here. I'm just kidding. And we've established that. We have established that like if you talk negatively about Bobo to like crazy extent, people call you an idiot. And that's awesome. Here's my next mission. This is Mars for us. You ready? Cornerbacks. If you're out here hating on a cornerback who's in a deep third for giving up a hitch, you're an idiot. So stop doing it. So he was an example of that. This guy got lambasted for a long time for he's not any good. He sucks.
He is Mr. Misunderstood.
Yeah.
Completely. That is Dalen Everett's Georgia.
So I want
career.
I want that to happen now. I want corners that are in zone coverage giving up things into dead areas that are getting flamed on Twitter. I want our constituents to be like, hey, ball knower, come get this idiot. Because I want to come get him.
Just one of the most like comfortable corners you could watch. Like you never saw any panic in Dalen Everett's play ever. And that's so rare to find in cornerbacks nowadays. It seems like, and I just thought he was good. I thought he was a great cornerback. And again, I think he was just Mr. Misunderstood.
Who's next?
Oscar Delp.
What you got?
I think that it's very, very easy to look at Oscar Delp's career and say, oh, that was a disappointment. That was a letdown. He was misused because of the guy that he had to come in after. He was never going to be – no one is ever going to be that. That's like being the next running back after Herschel Walker. Like, it's not going to live up to that. However, I think Oscar Delp was a fantastic tight end during his time at Georgia. I think that you could argue he definitely is a top 3 tight end of the Kirby Smart era. And I think that's exactly what his career is. Like, he is one of the best tight ends that Georgia's had under Kirby Smart.
Would you go Charlie Warner?
I would take Oscar Delp over Charlie Warner. Charlie Warner was good. Charlie Warner was reliable, but
Okay.
Oscar Delp was a better athlete.
So you go Brock, Darnell, Oscar, Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there was never a year where it seemed like Oscar wasn't doing something that was for the benefit of his ultimate career. Now, I know that the 2024 season ultimately, and he even said it himself, didn't go the way that he planned it to. But I feel like every time you would see Oscar after an offseason, there was something different. There was something that he added to his game. There was something that he got better at. And I also commend Oscar for the fact of despite many opportunities, I would say, or I shouldn't say many, but despite there being opportunities for him maybe to have some bad body language or maybe some frustration on the football field for not getting the ball in some situations, never saw any of that from him. That guy didn't speak poorly of how he was used at Georgia. In fact, he would speak very highly of his time at Georgia. Just an overall guy like, I'm here to do my job. I don't care what it is. I'll block my butt off every single snap.
I will say this. No one ran naked into defensive coverage is less noticeable than this guy.
Yeah.
Normally when targets are wide open, everybody in the stadium knows that the quarterback just missed them. He never did that. And I do greatly appreciate that. We got onto a young player for that today.
Yep.
Where it's like, you don't need to let the world know that something bad just happened. Take your ass to the sideline or back to the huddle, one or the other. Don't be doing this one in the middle of the television copy. That looks terrible. I got it on the board, no palms up, right? No palms up. You do this at any point on the football field, it is you telling the world, that's not my fault, it's everybody else's. No palms up.
Mm-hmm. Micah Morse.
What, you want them palms down? Oh, damn. Just out here like, dang, man, what the hell happened?
Micah Morse.
Are we starting now, or is this like?
No. The Micah thing to me is like, I never strained.
Yeah.
I just want to see some strain. I know you're the strongest human to ever walk the planet. Like, you are Mark Henry. I know this. I want to see some strain from you, and I always did, but I got it towards the end. I got it. It's just not his play style. He's not going to show foot fire. He's not going to show twitch. He's going to grab somebody, keep them there, and walk them out of the hole.
But, I think that every offensive line room needs a Micah Morris.
Yes.
A guy that is not going out here to catch a flash. He's not out here to build a highlight tape. He's just going to walk out there. He's going to do his job quietly. You're not going to mention him during the broadcast probably, but number 56 is going to be out there doing his job every single time.
There was never a moment in his career where I felt like, Micah Morris is doing too much right now to his detriment. He was always played within himself, and he was one of the more solid players. Like, even Monroe Freeling had moments where, gosh, this guy's kind of playing all over the place.
By the way,
injured.
Anybody, and I mean anybody, that is willing to sign up for 5 years of line of scrimmage practice at the University of Georgia, I tip my cap to you, sir.
Yep.
You are a bad MFer. That's what you are. So this guy did it. This guy signed up for 5 hard ones.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, long ones. It never was on the practice squad. This kid was in the 2 deep for 5 years.
Constantly.
And mind you, this is a player who siphoned through those 2021 years, those 2022 years.
Bro, he played the boys.
Yeah. He was always against some of the best, and he never dipped out, and he never hung his head down.
Never tapped.
Nope. Dylan Bell.
Oh, man. There will be decades from now when you can look to a Georgia fan and say, where were you for the 2023 Dylan Bell Tennessee game? And
word?
And their eyes will light up.
Word?
I've given my word of commitment. One of the first things I will be showing my daughter here in a couple of months is, let me show you what Dylan Bell did to Tennessee in 2023.
You guys are wild.
That's the cut up I will be showing.
Oh, and by the way, it was head topping people.
Oh, buddy.
In the
back
Orange
shoulder, just come on.
His Orange Bowl performance is one of the more underrated, forgotten performances as well. He was head topping fools.
Florida State?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that game apart from Labakaki making them look like JV.
And Jackson Muschamp.
The two things I remember from that game.
Oh my God! And the hawk down on a deep ball that Daniel Harris had.
Oh yeah.
He was beat by 10 yards and ran that kid down and broke that ball up.
The only thing I remember was the Florida State got a strip sack early in the game. I was like, oh, maybe this will be a tough game. And then, obviously, they just blew it wide open with touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. So, yeah, Dylan Bell, one of the better Swiss Army knife examples, one of the players where had some frustrating moments, I think, but at the end of the day, lots of, like, the Alabama catch could have been one of the most legendary plays in Georgia football history. And I hate that got taken from him. That's not his fault, but Dylan Bell, definitely a DGD.
Mm-hmm. Noah Thomas, I know it was short. It was a very brief Georgia career for him. He had a great game against Texas.
And Auburn.
He did have a good game against Auburn.
And he had a big breakaway explosive against Mississippi State.
I'd say the play against Mississippi State was
where Gunner almost died.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That touchdown against Mississippi State.
That's every play.
All right.
That doesn't really narrow it down, to be honest.
One of the 17 times Gunner Stockton was had to be peeled up off the ground last year.
But no, that play against Mississippi State was when I went, okay, that's why this guy's here. That's what his potential is. That's what he can be for this team. And you didn't see enough of it, I think, and you didn't see what the ultimate potential was. And I think it's fair to say that his time at Georgia was necessarily underwhelming. But
can I be mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to draft you, I've watched your film. I don't need you posting a 60-second clip on TikTok of all the reps that you were open and didn't get the ball. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And
I didn't like that.
No, I think it's
I didn't like that at all. I wouldn't have liked that if anybody did it. I don't like that.
And not to excuse it, but I will say, like, that was also the time where he found out he was not invited to the NFL Combine. So
I don't think it was a shot at anybody.
I think it was just a lot of emotions at the time. I need to tell the world that I deserve to be there.
Correct. We have to understand that when we do things like that, again, it's like that comment I had about who is it, Cam Coleman. Mm-hmm. Even though it's truthful, it doesn't mean it's not sensational.
Right.
Even though it is the truth, it does not mean it will not be sensationalized against you. All right, so that's one of those examples. There's no way that doesn't get viewed by at least one NFL scout as that's pretty selfish. Mm-hmm. Why did he feel the need to do that?
Right.
You know what I mean? There is no need for what? Your 14,000 TikTok followers. There's no need for it. We don't have to do that.
I did think it was cool that he came back for G-Day to get his SEC championship ring.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool
and
see him back with the boys.
And he spoke about his time at Georgia very glowingly. I feel like he appreciates what the university did for him, even though I think we can all agree, and he would also say there's probably more that was probably left to be desired.
For sure. Yeah. Cash Jones.
I hope he's a 5th-round draft pick so he can just shove it up everybody.
Oh, boy, wouldn't that be something?
I hope this walk-on that never deserves to play, per 680 The Fan, boisterous people, gets drafted in the 5th round.
You know
I
what?
hope it happens.
I actually saw Cash Jones mentioned, and I want to say Jordan Reed's top 200 players list for the NFL draft.
Jordan Reed, a ball knower.
He is.
Fan of the network.
I'm pretty sure it was his list, one of those, but that would be the equivalent of Chaz Chambliss getting drafted. It was like, yeah, all you people that said he shouldn't be on the field.
By the way, did you notice Cash Jones was not in attendance at G-Day? You know why?
NFL meetings?
He's on a top 30 visit.
What do you know?
Good.
Good for Cash.
Good. So that's
like for him being criticized for filling a role that he was really good at, a 3rd down receiving back.
You think he wore a hat to his top 30 visit?
no.
I don't know.
Let's do another one.
Have you ever seen Cash Jones without a hat or a helmet?
Yeah, at his presser.
Yeah, it's presser.
Okay.
He threw the horns down, baby.
Oh, that's right.
Gave the horns down.
Let's have our second what if of the evening. What if he converts that 1st down?
Oh, if he
Against
scores
Alabama?
against Alabama.
Doesn't even have to score. Just gets the first
If he
down.
scores, it's, oh my, legend. The Alabama killer, Cash Jones.
Because the only thing I felt like Cash Jones had where fans were like, why is he in the game, was that play. Before that, extremely solid player, made some extremely big plays for the team. Even after that, had some really big plays for the team. That one play I feel like has changed the trajectory of how casual fans view Cash Jones, and I hate it.
All right, I'm going to name this player.
Hold on.
Oh,
I want to find this video because the one thing I do remember about Cash Jones is when he committed to Georgia as a walk-on, and I go look at his Twitter profile, and one of the most recent videos is him in a pair of flip-flops on a boat ramp jumping onto the back of the truck, like into the bed of the truck, over the bed of the truck. I gotta find it.
The tailgate's not open?
Like he's on a curb that's like 6 inches elevated, and he jumps and turns and lands inside the truck. I gotta find it. So y'all do your thing. I'm gonna go on it.
okay, well, I was gonna mention Brett Thorson next because I know exactly what Brooks is.
White Roy.
Yep.
That's all I had to do.
Yep.
Dude, when you have, and honestly, I feel like out of all the players on this list, you can tell the most stories about Brett Thorson. That says something.
Yeah, he definitely has the most stories to like. One of the best things that I remember about Brett Thorson is it was when the Masters was being played during college football season, and the Georgia football media team let Brett Thorson voice over like the Masters pregame teaser for the Georgia game that weekend. It was one of the most perfect pieces of media I've ever seen in my entire life.
Everything he touched media-wise was gold. And I know he got in trouble for the podcast, and I know that, there were some areas where maybe he spoke too much, but the tackling trainer, the Masters media, like just everything Brett Thorson, him talking about how Nate Frazier has a horrible Australian accent, like Brett Thorson was one of those players where they're just a joy to be around. And by the way, one of the best punters in the country every time they were there. Like the 22 Tennessee punt, which that feels so far away from now, is still legendary.
Wow.
So
this is young Cash Jones.
Yeah, bro.
Say so much,
yeah, bro. This is young Brooks Austin too. Do you see what he tagged? It's at Brooks Austin SI.
Oh,
This is old school. This is from 2020. This is just after COVID.
All right, we have found the video.
We have found the video. Check this out. We're in the Jesus flops. You probably got sound on this. Shimona,
I don't.
Mute that. Okay, you don't? All right, you see the boat, like I said, being towed fresh out of the boat ramp. We're in the slides. We're going to jump on the back of this F-150. Wham!
Dude,
how about that?
Nuts.
How about that?
And it's shoulder height. He just showed it's shoulder height to him.
Hell yeah.
very impressive.
That is nuts.
It says bunny plus lake equals 100.
Nice.
Cash Joe's got the bunnies.
Sure does. He was very athletic.
God, I hope he gets drafted.
Which players we got left?
We have Ja'Cory Thomas is one of our final two people on this.
Comanche Construction. That's the first thing I think of when I think of Ja'Cory Thomas.
Because of writing the article.
Yeah, I was on a job site writing the commitment article.
Ja'Cory Thomas is another one of these players where it's like the rarity in modern college football where this guy sat and was never really a one for the majority of his career until he just waited his turn and then finally got his opportunity and made the most of it. Like even heading into this season, he was not the clear-cut one. Like him and Kyron Jones are splitting reps with KJ Bolden. Obviously, Kyron Jones is not available for the rest of the season, but he was a solid safety for Georgia once again. And the way his career ended was very unfortunate.
Yeah, it was.
He should not have gone out on that targeting penalty.
BS. God, that sucked. I hated that so much for him. Hated the call, but hated that specifically for him, knowing that was potentially the last we were going to see of him. But you're right. I mean, I think that Ja'Cory Thomas for 4 years of his college career it became, oh, yeah, and Ja'Cory Thomas is here, but probably not going to play. That guy's not probably going to play a snap for Georgia. That's not going to be the case. And then finally gets his turn this past season and played good football. He played really well in the moments where he had to step in for Kyron Jones.
If he had another year of eligibility, I think he'd be a Longhorn. He was a Will Muschamp take out of high school.
Yeah.
This was a guy that came to camp, and Muschamp had just come back and was helping out with summer workouts. And next thing you know, Muschamp's got the entire defensive staff pulled into the House of Pain to watch this kid work out. He ends up getting an offer. 14 days later, commits to Georgia.
Hell yeah.
Just like that. Camps. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to all these high schools soon.
You got one more.
Yeah. All right, what's one more? But you got to camp, guys. If you're not camping hard and camping well, schools aren't going to take you anymore. That they are taking all camp evals now. Every place I go, it's like, hey, why do you like this kid? Well, we saw him in camp. We saw him do this in camp. We saw this in camp. His team came up to 7-on-7. If you aren't balling out in their building, they're not taking you anymore.
The final name on this list is one Josh McCray. And there's one play that I will always remember for Mr. McCray. Ole Miss, fourth down conversion. Whew.
Your season
Gutsy.
looks drastically different if he doesn't make that play. And by the way, people forget he scored the game-winning touchdown against Tennessee.
He did.
Like, he was a part of a lot of moments for as few carries and as few opportunities as he had during his time in Athens. He was a part of a lot. He made a big impact. So
Sure did.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us this week. Jonathan, do you want to come in tomorrow and do part 2 of A&M?
It's up to you.
I
know it's going to be a long day.
Dude, I got like 9 more guys to watch.
Then probably not.
All right, so we'll do A&M Film Study Friday morning. Tomorrow night, Dan Levitard, live on YouTube. Yours truly over there, 4.5 hours. Excited to do it. I've been listening to that show since I was 13 years old. Big opportunity. I'm probably going to nut up and be nervous. But, hey, who cares? Enjoy it.